Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the wonderful live stream of epic awesomeness and great cool things. I think my audio might be out of sync again. Hoping that's not the case, but there's a chance, so sorry if that's the case. But anywho, tonight's stream sees us continuing development with No Place Like, the open source JavaScript platformer extraordinaire, based off of Phaser.js version 3, and utilizing JavaScript and ES6 code and all this wonderful great technology under the hood. In tonight's stream, we're going to be creating the engineer NPC class for our brand new NPC character that we have. We did such a wonderful job of animating, rigging, drawing, etc., etc. After that, we're going to draw a table. Simple. Just something for our character to sit behind, perhaps a little bit of scenery objects just to place around him inside the cave where he's going to be living. And then, finally, we're going to get a start on, I don't expect us to per se finish this in this stream, but if we do, that'd be sweet. We can perhaps move on to something else, but my goal for this stream is to start on a dialogue system. So, you click on a character, you touch a character on a phone, and then you start a conversation with them, and it'll have a sort of simple linking question answer linking to different lines and so on and so forth system. Anyways, I've talked enough. Let's get into it. So welcome to what I'm looking at. Welcome to my screen. T-minus 3, 2, 1. Boom. So I'm just finishing up entering some issues. So I'm just gonna actually finish this one up real quick. This is just to create a generic gun class so that we can do the same thing we've been doing with all of our generic classes, such as the levels and we don't actually have one for players yet, for characters, but we're eventually going to have one for playable characters and for NPCs. And also, like I'm writing up the specification for here, we're going to be doing one for a generic gun class, so you can take this class and extend it and create new guns with some simple configuration and just a few different key value properties. So, so far I've got the solution to this problem or issue, perhaps, is to create a new gun class and extend from the Phaser container class, add configuration key value properties with defaults to the constructor as an argument. The ones that I highlighted and thought would be important would be the projectile sprite key, the gun sprite key, the gun idle animation key, if applicable, defaults to false, gun shoot animation key, again, if applicable, defaults to false, and the emitter configuration, so the different properties that we then pass directly into emitter via the spread property and so on and so forth. The pistol versus rifle / shotgun grip style. So the way that he's holding the gun, is he holding it like this or is he holding it like a pistol, effectively? And lastly, so far what I've got is we need to create a weapon property in our main character constructor config and pass in whatever weapon we've instantiated. Pass in instantiated weapon. Or a gun, I suppose. And then lastly, we need to create a switch weapon function on our MC Africa class. By the way, welcome viewer, thanks for joining us. You joined a little while ago, I just forgot to mention it, so thank you. Anywho, yes, this is the plan for that. Submit new issue, and we'll just throw an enhancement label on it, because that's what it is. and enhancement, and actually this one can also have the refactor tag, label, whatever. Throw it in the right project. And now, if we go back to the issues page, I took the liberty of assigning the 2 issues that we are going to be tackling tonight to myself. So that would be NPC, generic NPC, or engineer NPC class. So we're just going to create an NPC for the engineer extending, for now, straight from Sprite. Eventually, in the future, we're going to be extending from a generic NPC class, but for now, we're just extending from Sprite. And then also, we're going to get, like I said, we'll get cracking on a basic dialog system after we place our first NPC in the map, so that we can talk to the NPC. And one day, eventually, I hope to source some voice acting for these projects and get some voiceovers to go with our subtitles. Would be cool. So anyways, let's get cracking on the first part, the engineer NPC class. So, I didn't really write any specification for that one, so we're just going to have to do it on the fly, but no problem. So I've already got my dev server running. I can head on over to localhost port 8080, but actually, and this is the new map that we created in the previous stream. We've got a labyrinth of caves, because in the future of this game, the whole idea is that it's dangerous out in the real world, out in the overworld, because there's these giant robots and small robots roaming around, basically out to kill all humans. And so humans, the ones that have survived, have done so by moving underground and living underground. This is going to be just a little bedroom area for someone. Anyways, I could walk through the whole level, but that would take a little while because it's actually quite big. But this level will be available on the live demo shortly. Anywho, first thing we want to do is we want to create our NPC class. And for now, again, just extending from Sprite, but we already have all the graphics ready for it, the sprite sheet and so on. So it should be fine to load that into memory. We might eventually have to convert it to an Atlas, like texture packer kind of JSON file. Also, it's kind of messed up down here. We've got all these lines everywhere. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty solid. And I was thinking our engineer guy could live somewhere down here. That was the plan. So anyways, let's dive right into the code now, and let's get cracking on it, shall we? So we don't need anything related to level just right now. We don't need empty Africa fight. We don't need game.js. And we probably do need... Yes, we do need the preloader, because we're going to be preloading in some new assets. So first things first is let's preload those. Let's find the path to those assets and preload them. So images, sprites, engineer guy. Oh, actually, but you know what? Before we do anything, let me just back up and make sure I'm on a new branch for our, for one thing, I don't think that needs to be changed, so reset hard on that. That's a dangerous command to run, by the way, get reset hard, -- hard. You should only do it if you're absolutely sure you don't need the stuff that you've changed, because it just resets it back to the last version. No questions asked. Anyways, let's just check what branch I'm on. So I'm on master right now, so that's not going to do. Let's just pull from origin master just to make sure we have the latest and greatest. Checkout -b. I like to do capital B, but I don't think it matters. -b. Create a new branch for our excuse me, for our engineer NPC class. So we'll just call this -b Kirk issue 49 NPC engineer. So git checkout, or we're actually already on it. What am I saying? Just double confirm that. Okay, branch looking good. And now we can boot up our dev server and start making changes. So let's do just that. I'm gonna quit out of Discord just to hopefully save on RAM a little bit. As much as I can for the sake of the stream. and hopefully the sake of my audio video somewhat synchronization. I hope. We'll see. See how it goes. So anywho, we're going to be adding in a sprite, but it's actually, all of our sprites at the moment are multi-atlas sprites, and this one is just going to be a basic sprite sheet like the pink portal. So I'm going to put it down here with the pink portal, and we're going to call it, it needs a unique key, so let's call it NPC-engineer. And it's going to be assets, images, sprites, not tiles, but it's going to be sprites engineer, or let's say NPC engineer, and just rename this engineer guy folder to NPC engineer. Booyah. And got a lot of images in there that we really don't need, and we could clean out for the sake of keeping our repository file size, disk size down. And we're probably going to have to go through and do that at some point, but for now, it's all good. It's all Gucci. So I believe our sprite sheet is NPC engineer, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is our animation of our character. You can just see he's examining a doodad and moving it from the left side to the right side, or right side to the left side, whatever. And what we're going to do is we're just going to ping pong this animation so that it loops back and forth, kind of like the boomerang effect on Instagram, if you've seen that. Exact same idea, but with a sprite instead of a video. So the file we were looking for was indeed npc-engineer.png, and the frame width and height, we're going to have to open up our installation of Synfig Studio to figure that out, because I, for the life of me, would never be able to remember that. So we got to go open recent. Oh dear me, it's not showing up for us. Oh, which is just because I just changed the file path, so it doesn't know where it lives anymore. We want to go NPC engineer and NPC engineer. There he is. So yeah, this is our animation. It just loops like that, and it'll go back to the start, like kind of like that. So it's just going to go back and forth between those two, like these two states. And I'm thinking, when you talk to him, he's gonna sort of move it somewhat to the middle. Maybe frame 6 would be okay, and then he'll just pause here and start talking to you. Is a potential thing we could do. We could do lots of stuff. We could switch to a whole other animation if we create such an animation of him putting it to one side or whatever. We'll figure something out. Oh, why is it just playing this one song? I just realized that. Shoot. Has it just been playing that one song the whole time? I totally didn't notice. My bad. Anyways, my mubby. Back to Synfig. And where's our guy? Oh, that's animation number 1. We want our guy. And we'll say canvas properties. And so there's our width and height of the frame right there, is 240 by 270. So we've got 240 width, 270 height. So we need to pass that in as frame width and frame height. So it was 240, 270. I shouldn't have closed it. I should have just kept it open, but I think this is right. We'll know pretty quickly if it's wrong. So we've now, if we reload our game just to make sure there's no errors, oopsie daisies. Put that on the side here, and yep, we compiled successfully. So reload, and no errors. We preloaded our sprite sheet, all good. It might start giving us errors on phones. There's a potential that the sprite sheet is too big for phones. We ran into that problem before, which is why for most of our sprites we're using the multi-atlas style of loading them in, where it kind of optimizes for phones and different devices and whatnot, does all this stuff for you. But we need a program to export that, and I haven't nailed down a good open source free one just yet. I was using one that was a paid one, but now it's don't want to use that anymore. So just because it's paid, and I would like all the tooling for the creation of these games to be free, and ideally open source, just as these games are. So, anyways, moving on. Let's now we now get to create the class for our new character. So that doesn't live in assets, doesn't live in scenes, does live in sprites. So in NPC, we have a bad and a good folder. So let's make our let's call them NPC. Let's call them engineer NPC dot j, or let's just call them engineer.js. And now we can get cracking on our brand new NPC. I'm just going to open up one of our bad guys as an example. Oh, it looks like we do have a base class for bad guys. Where does that live? // base. Yeah, interesting. We already have an enemy class, right? I should have known that. I kind of spaced on that, but anyways, that's cool. So yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's also, at the same time as we're doing this, we'll create a npc.js class, which is going to be our base NPC class that all NPCs extend from. And it's going to look similar to our enemy.js. It will have similarities, but there will be a lot of differences as well. But it's a good starting point for us. So let's go import game objects. Alrighty, from phaser const sprite equals game objects, and then we'll say class NPC extends sprite. How about that? Give it a constructor and have some configuration that we pass into said constructor anytime we instantiate our person. And I'm just going to copy this super function because it is going to look basically identical to between our enemies and our good NPCs, along with actually the first. Really, we could go with all of these, but I wasn't planning on implementing a health system for enemies just yet, so I think we'll omit that. But the set texture configuration, adding enabling the world physics on this and adding the itself to that physics, the physics of the scene that's passed into the configuration, that all will stay. So, do I have any notes on an NPC class? I hope so. Let's see, so NPC, no, that's not it. Might be in basic dialog system. Give NPCs eventually NPC base class a dialog property. Well, eventually is apparently right now. We're doing it right now, but I thought I might have notes in here, but I do not think so. So let's maybe let's plan out our class in no, whatever. Let's just code the thing. Planning's for suckers. Just kidding. You should really plan, but I don't. Sometimes I like to just fly by the seat of my pants. And if I get really stuck, then I'll stop and plan. But if I can get through it and get into that coding flow, then it feels really good. So yes, let's see. First things first, I guess our NPC is going to need I suppose an update function that sets the, well, you know what, let's just leave it as this for now and just keep it real basic, and then when we come back and start working on our dialog system, we'll add all kinds of cool stuff to this class. But for now, we're just going to export default NPC so we can import it elsewhere, such as in our engineer class. And we'll say import, we don't need curly braces, so we'll just say import NPC from /base/NPC. Brilliant. So with that extent imported, we can now create our engineer class. Engineer class extends. I almost want to call him inventor, but whatever, engineer works too. So extends NPC. So instead of extending sprite, he's extending the NPC. So now, let's now move over to our rotator bot for reference, because rotator bot is an example of one that's extending the enemy class just like we're extending the NPC class. So effectively, a lot of the configuration will be similar. So first things first is we're gonna create another constructor, but this time within engineer, and we're gonna use the spread operator to pass in all the configuration passed into the engineer class down into the NPC class, and we're gonna add a couple extra keys, which is the texture. But in this case, it's not going to be rotator enemy. It's going to be what we preloaded, which is NPC engineer, NPC-engineer. And we're going to get rid of that health because we're not concerned with health for NPCs at the moment. And just not totally feeling this song, so I'm just going to skip that one. Laszlo, here we go. I feel like I liked a few songs by this guy before, so let's give it a shot. Anywho, we're gonna pass in the texture, the new one, specifically for our engineer class. We're only gonna create one instantiation of the engineer class, but if we wanted, we could create a billion clones of them, and they'd all have that same texture. So, anyways. We might have to fiddle around with setting the body size. I was having weird issues with that with the enemies, but for now, let's just set the scale to 0.5, so half the regular size, just to see what that looks like. It might be scaling it down too much, it might not be enough. We'll just test it out in the water and see what it looks like. And for the update function, I don't really think we need one just as of yet. Yeah, I think we're set without one, to be honest. So, hold the phone. I'm just going to blast out a real quick tweet here just to try and stir the pot a little bit. Be just a second. Oopsie daisies. JavaScript. Oh dear me. JavaScript. Enter. All right. Just write out the link for my stream really quick, and then I promise I'll keep going. Sorry for the minor delay right here. I know this is going to be no fun for anyone watching in the future, even though there's no one here right now, but any future YouTube viewers, feel free to skip ahead just like a few seconds and just actually type out a link by hand. Sorry, it's hard work. So cool. This guy, this guy, and that guy. Really? Okay. Tweeting done. Let's do this. So we've got our engineer class. Now let's add him into our level, shall we? So let's open up our level1.js, which is where we would implement such a thing. And in our create function, we can do something along the lines of this. We'll say, first of all, we need to import our new NPC, our engineer NPC class. So we'll say import engineer, and sorry, actually, before we do that, we have to export default the engineer class so that we export it for importing. You have to export to import. It makes sense. So import engineer from dot slash sprites slash not base mod b slash npc sprites slash npc slash good guys and the engineer. That's where our engineer class lives, and now we can use it by saying const engineer equals new engineer, and we'll say now we need to pass some configuration into him. So, or you know what? Actually, I think all the defaults might be just fine for him. Oh no! Sorry, my bad. We do need to pass in a couple things. So let's do that. We need the scene, so we'll say scene is this, because this in this case is a reference to our level, and our level is extending our scene, as you can see right here. Very handy feature of VS Code. If you hold Control and hover over something, it'll bring up a little box showing its definition, even if it's in a different file. Pretty cool, as long as it can find it. Anywho, so we need the scene, we need an x value, and for now let's just say x can be like 2, let's say the same as our, or a little bit different than our MC Africa fight. We'll just say like 600x and 350, oopsies. Y can also be 350. Wow, I can't type. Y is 350. Good sir, good madam. And we do need a key, so this needs to be unique. I don't know if it needs to be unique amongst all the animations and those keys, but just for good measure, let's make it so. We'll say NPC engineer sprite or something. Doesn't really matter. I don't even know if we're ever going to need to use that again, just for internally so that it can tell the difference between our instantiations. Now we'll say, for now, this is probably good enough, and we can test this and save that and reload and see what happens. Oh, there's our, uh-oh, okay, well, he fell down. Yes, okay, he fell through the map because we're going to need to handle NPCs in much the same way as we're handling enemies. So there's not an example of enemies in level 1 yet, but we do have our Africa camp level, which has enemies and or baddies or whatever we're calling them, and we're calling the init scene function on the level the same way we are here, but before we call that init scene function, we're creating an enemies array, and we're gonna have to do basically the exact same system but with NPCs. So first things first is the same way we instantiated our rotator bot, we have just instantiated our engineer. However, we're going to need to create an array that represents our NPCs as well. So let's do that. And actually, we're going to move this up above the init scene function. So, boom, engineer equals that, and we'll say this dot NPCs, or perhaps we'll capitalize it, so NPCs like that, equals, and a new array. And in that array, we'll just have the engineer. And in our init scene function, in our call to init scene, we'll pass in an NPCs, or no, let's keep it big. So like NPCs, we're passing in an NPCs our array into the init scene. And a really neat feature of ES6 JavaScript is if you want to pass in something that looks like this, so if you want to pass in something that has the same variable name for the value as the key, you actually can just omit the value. That's what we want to say is the NPC's config property is equal to the NPC's array we just defined. Ooh, actually, it's not going to work quite perfectly, but if we go like that, it will. Anyways, if you want to do this, the syntax is the exact same as saying just that. And you can put a comma and you can keep adding more properties, but neat trick for ES6. I plan on writing a little ES6 tips and tricks tutorial at some point, even though there's probably already a million of them out there, but can't hurt to have another one, right? These are just the ones I find useful. Anywho, so now inside of our init scene function, we're going to have to handle our NPCs array, just the same way as we're handling the baddies array. And by that, all I mean is we have to create some collision detection between our map and our enemies. So let's do that. So we don't need our Africa camp level anymore, but what we do need is our generic level class. Not level 1, but level. We're going to have to change the name of level 1. Level 1 isn't going to fly at all, but for now it'll do. Anyways, so like our enemies array, we're going to have an NPCs array, and it's going to default, much like enemies, to an empty array. But in the case of our level 1, we actually are populating that array. And down here where we're adding, that comment doesn't make any sense, so let's change that to add enemies and NPCs to respective physics groups. So this dot NPCs equals this dot physics dot add dot group, and instead of enemies we're going to pass in the NPCs array. And this is kind of a little bug I noticed with Phaser, is that it says in the docs that this the second argument of the add group function is optional, but I have found that if you don't specify just even anything, as even if like a empty object like this, it'll throw an error. So that's just a little workaround we're doing right now. It works, no big deal. Perhaps I'll submit a pull request on Phaser and try and fix that bug. Probably, I'm sure it'd be really simple, just to add a little default value for that. But anywho, let's now add our collision for our NPCs, just the same way that we added it for our enemies. So right here, where we've got this dot physics dot add collider, this dot enemies, this dot solid layer. Solid layer is a reference to one of the layers of our map. We can copy that line and change enemies to NPCs. And now if we reload our game, he should, yeah, even though he's not actually showing up properly, you can see his little square right here, his little pink square, landed on the map and is not falling through this time. So, good news. So, next step is I guess we got to debug why his sprite isn't actually showing the proper image, or sprite animation, I suppose. So for that, let's first of all just examine our texture, just to make sure we didn't get a typo or anything. So move preloader over into this side so we can compare and contrast. So NPC engineer, that's looking to be the same to me. And what about our file path? Do we have that right? Assets, images, sprites, NPC engineer / NPC engineer.png. Let's check. Source, which is where we're in, or well, actually when we're playing the game, we're actually playing it out of dist, but it mimics the same directory as source. So source, so assets, images, sprites, NPC engineer, yeah, NPC engineer and NPC engineer.png, which is indeed his sprite sheet right here. That is the man. So that's funny that that's not working. Let's have a look at our network inspector just to see if perhaps it's failing to load that image in. So let's head over to the images tab and reload this sucker. I'm not seeing any 400 errors, but sometimes it'll still give you a 200 error when it's loading in things that aren't... Oh no, there it is. It's loading it in properly, so that's not the problem. Okay, interesting. I doubt this would be the case, but it could potentially be because we're not creating an animation, but I seriously doubt that, because for the longest time we didn't have an animation working for our gun, so I just had it all commented out, and the static gun still would just show up nicely. And also our... Man, I don't understand this bug at all. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the sky was black before. Now it's yellow. This is what it should be, but this has been a bug that just likes to appear and disappear for the last... since we started making the game, basically. Since we started making a tiled map. And yeah, it should be yellow like this, but it likes to just randomly, when you're feeling really good about your code, it likes to just switch itself off and go to black for some reason. So I don't know what that's all about, but it fixed itself, so whatever, we can close the issue later, which is nice. Anywho, yeah, let's continue debugging this and figure out why, oh why, our engineer is not showing the right texture. So we're passing in the texture property. Let's just make sure that property is making it to the right. Yeah, so this.set texture config.texture. So that, to my eyes, is correct. Let's just do this. We'll say console.log config.texture. Texture. Just to see what is in that. Yeah, so it's just the key for NPC engineer, which is what it should be. Funny. Okay. I don't... Oh, it could be an issue of layering, actually, now that I think about it. So that's probably what it is. So down here, we're setting depths for all of our layers. So our different various map layers, our main character, the projectiles, aka bullets layer, the enemies layer, which we're setting to 2, and we have to do the same with NPCs. This is probably what's tripping it up. It's probably displaying the image, it's just that the image is behind our cave wall. So let's try that again. And there he is. Although, yes, we're encountering the same weird error as before that I don't understand why this happens, but for some reason we don't always seem to have to explicitly set the sprite body width and height, but in this case we do, and it doesn't actually, when we're setting it, the function doesn't actually account for the scale, so we have to do a little bit of math, which is annoying, but doable. I'm not really a math person personally, so that's a little bit of a bugaboo for me, but it's okay, it's basic math, so I can figure it out. 0.5 is what we're scaling him down to, which actually works. I think this size is pretty... He's a little bigger than our main character, but that's actually quite alright. Maybe we'll just go down to like 4 or 5, just make him a tiny bit smaller. See what that looks like. So that's, yeah, his head's still bigger than ours, but that's okay. He's just a slightly bigger dude than the main character, so no big deal. So, in order to get, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to take this value out of here, and I'm going to set a variable that we can use to use herptadablabda in our math so that we don't actually have to do any of the calculations, and we can tell the computer do math for us. So const, let's just call it scalar equals 0.45, and we'll pass that in. So now it's effectively the same as what we had before, but we can use that scalar variable in our calculations as well for our width and height. So we know the width and height in our preloader here is right here, frame width, frame height. So, this is what's funny, is this is what doesn't seem to be making it through the frame width and frame height. So I think I've got the keys right. I don't know, whatever. For now, we can just do this. Hopefully we'll have a better fix in the future. Again, this is an open source project, so if any of you out there feel like you have a solution to this problem, feel free to fork the repository and make a pull request, or fix the bug in your version, make a pull request back into the main version, and as long as it's all good and doesn't break anything, I will merge it in. So, where were we? We created a scalar, now we need to apply that scalar to some maths. So, and we'll make a constant of the width and height too, just for simplicity. Even though we can probably access this somewhere in his properties, we'll just say const height is 240, or width, sorry. Let's just say w const h equals 270. Now, we can, actually, yeah, 240, but we'll say times scalar, scalar, like pirates now, times scalar, so that'll scale it down to 45% of 240 or 270, which is the same as what we're setting the scale to, so it should all be Gucci. But we just have to call one function on this and pass in our w and h variables that we've just defined, and we're doing it in the rotator bot, so yes, this.body.setSize right here. But instead of having hard-coded values in there like we do for this one, we're going to say pass in w, and pass in h, just like that. Now let's see if his bounding box is correct. It's, no, not quite correct actually, so that's irritating. Wonder why that's not working. What happens if we just don't bother with the scalar? What does that look like? Maybe it does actually apply the scale properly. Oh, it does. Oh, my bad. Okay, so it is. We just have to pass in the width and height. We don't have to worry about having a scalar, which is fine. So that's good. Darn. Cool. So let's delete this, and might as well just leave them all as variables. It's not hurting anything. So, boom. We've got our new NPC sprite. We're not actually going to be able to shoot in here eventually, so when we click on him, it's going to start a conversation instead of, shooting at him. We're not that mean. But now we do need to do a little bit more math, and by doing a little bit more math, I mean we need to open up our map, our giant map that we've created in Tiled, which is our free open source map making program, and it's a super awesome program. And if you have any map making needs for creating JSON tile maps, I highly recommend it. You can become a patron if you really like them. I plan on doing that just as soon as I have a job and have an income. Kind of helps for being a patron. Anyways, like I said before, the map is quite big, so that's why I'm not going to show you the whole thing just now, but this is what we've got so far on a zoomed out macro scale. And we want to figure out where to place our engineer NPC. So I was thinking either up in this room here or down in this Great Hall area. I think the Great Hall area would actually be a neat place for him to chill, along with a bunch of other NPCs. So I'm thinking we'll put him about somewhere like, just for now, we can just put him right in the middle. So the X and Y of that, if I'm reading this correctly from the bottom corner over here, they disappeared, but watch this corner when I hover over the spot, is 20 by 44. So I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper just as soon as I can find a gosh darn pencil, of which I have a box of them, so we're Gucci again. And I'll say, so it's X is, oopsies, I moved it. X is 20, and Y is 44. Now the reason, or let's say actually more like 43, so we spawn him kind of above the ground so that he falls to the ground and doesn't accidentally fall through the ground. Because if you spawn sprites sort of down here, anywhere in the solid layer, if it's actually inside the solid layer, it won't stop, it'll just fall all the way through. So we don't want that. So we want, like about here, so 42. So 20 by 42, 20x, 42y. And I always close this tile program earlier than I should, so I'm just going to leave it open until we have this working. And so to figure out our x and y for our engineer character, we need to head over to where we're instantiating him, which is in the level 1 class. And now our x, we're just going to say it was 20. So 20 times 100. And the reason we're timesing that by 100 is because the tiles on our map, each one of these squares is 100 by 100. Also, I think I just realized why we have those weird lines all over the background of the Great Hall. I'll fix that in just a second. But for the Y, we want 42 times 100, and that should position him roughly around here in the air, and then he'll fall down, and we'll never see him fall because we spawn way up here, but he'll fall to about here, and yeah, should be good. But I'm just gonna fix one little thing on this map here and re-export it. So I think we used the wrong tile here to draw the background of this. So I'm just gonna zoom out and go, or actually, better yet, use the bucket. Fine. Oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. Behind MC, there we go. Oh no, hold on. I gotta separate them from the walls just a little bit here. So go like that. Because we do want those tiles, but we only want those on the edge of the ceiling. So something like that, something like that. Now we should be clear to use the fill tool. Boom. Now we have a normal background on our in our Great Hall area of our underground labyrinth of society. So save that, and we'll go export and level1.json. It already figured it out. Save that. Yes, we want to overwrite it and leave it open. My instinct is to close it, but you know, something will go wrong, and I'll need it again for some reason. So got a little bit of a traveling to do to test this out. We could just spawn our character a bit closer to him just to make this easier, but and if we start having to test a lot, then I'll do that. But if this just works, you know, if it just works, then this can be fine for a one-time test. Okay, down we go. Going down, going down, going down. And there he is. He made it, and he's in the right position. Brilliant. Only thing I'm realizing is that we're running currently behind him, just in terms of layering. Our character runs behind him, and I would quite like our character to run in front of him. So let's figure out a way to do that really quick. Anyways, I'm feeling safe to close tiled now, so I think we're good. So our all the depth sorting happens in the level one right here. Oh, we didn't pass anything into NPCs.setDepth. That would help. So the MC is depth of 2. So I'm thinking we might actually up the MC's depth to 3. Leave enemies as 2, so it's behind him. No, hold on. Am I doing this right? No, oh, hold on. Above layer is already 3. So I guess that will now be 4. This will be 5. Should probably get a better system for this. Brendan Can says, what kind of JavaScript is this? This is ES6 JavaScript using the Phaser.js Phaser version 3 framework. We have a whole development environment set up using Webpack and Babel and all these other great tools and plugins and stuff that allow us to write this sort of fancy brand new JavaScript code and have it be what's called transpiled over to the older ES5 JavaScript code. It's the exact same thing. It works the exact same way, but it automatically compiles it down to old code, which enables us to write in new code, but have it run effectively and without errors on a wide variety of devices, because in 2019, basically everything supports ES5. So yes, we get that new with that old compatibility. Anyways, let's set his depth to, so MC was 3, so we want, so the bullets, the enemies, and yeah, the NPCs will be all on the second layer. that is to say, they should be behind the player. And you know what? Yeah, if we're testing this a lot, which I think we will be in a moment here, I'm going to reposition our character so that we're really close to the, we start close to the engineer guy, which doesn't happen in level, but it does happen in level 1, which is where we're extending level from. Yeah, this is a combination of Phaser.js, and we've created a sort of, we've abstracted Phaser into like a framework or skeleton, if you will, that's sort of the basis that specifically for our game. So we've created all these classes like level and enemy and stuff that we can extend to create various things in our game with just a little bit of configuration, and it's very, very simple and straightforward, and the coding becomes really easy. So I hope that answers your question, good sir. Anywho, our MC Africa fight will put, instead of, so as his X will be, instead of 20 times 100, let's reduce the X a little bit, but the Y can be the same. Y is the same, but the X, let's put him at the 18th tile on the X-axis. You just started learning JavaScript, says Brendan Can. That's sick, man. Oh dear, that's not working. Hold the phone, let's say, try 19. Why is it just spawning me right in the middle of nothing? That's weird. Oh yeah, no, that's weird. Are we offsetting that by something, perhaps? You started a boot camp 3 weeks ago. Nice, dude. How's that going for you? Are you enjoying it? I've heard good things and I've heard not good things about boot camp, so I'm curious to know your experience. I've heard they're hard, too. Hard, and they demand a lot of your time. Anyways, let's take a look at our level and see what we're doing to instantiate our MC. Yeah, we're just passing in the X and Y straight into our MC class, which, let's look at the definition really quick here. Oh, MC Africa, right, because we define the actual class up here, and we're saying MC Africa fight. So, can we, yes, that's what I wanted to do. Open the definition. So this is another example of something we're doing. This is a character in our game, right? He's MC for main character, Africa because he's sort of the main character for the African levels, and fight because it's like the fight variant of him. This is all stuff we're going to be tweaking a little bit in the future, and at the moment he's just extending a class that Phaser gives us, which is container. Oh, let's see. It's going much better than I expected, says Brendan Can. I've felt almost addicted to code since I started. Really enjoying it. That's awesome, dude. If you want a community to bounce ideas off and get debugging help, or even help others in the future, or now, you're welcome to join our Discord community, good sir. We're all about creating open source games, which is what this is. And we all work together to work on these projects and figure stuff out, and it's fun. It's a small community at the moment, but it's been growing steadily, slowly but surely, and yeah, love to have you there. Because I can tell right away that just by the way you said you felt almost addicted to it. I think you'd be a good fit for our community too. That's a really, you seem like-minded. We're all big fans of code. And everyone has various levels of experience, so don't feel like you'd be yeah, just feel comfortable. But if you don't want to, that's cool too. Oh, yeah, so, okay, Brendan Can, is that command you just ran, the ! Discord, is there some way I can configure the Discord link into my stream? Because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I have like a form on my website that will email you a link, but it's it was actually it apparently wasn't working for someone, so I'll send you a link to it. But if it doesn't work for you, send me a message on Twitch and I'll send you a link myself. Send you a link to the Discord page if you want to check this out. Use Nightbot. Oh, interesting. Yeah, see, I'm still a total noob to Twitch stuff, so yeah, I'm still figuring all this stuff out, actually, and a lot of it is brand new to me. Most of it is brand new to me. Twitch might have them built in by now, actually, but you use Nightbot. Cool, man. Do you stream as well? And if so, what do you stream? Anyways, let's figure this out. Let's see here. Okay. Just about the X and Y positioning, it shouldn't be that complicated. Yeah, we're supering. Yeah, we're passing in the config.x and y right here, and our config for x and y is being passed in the level class where we instantiate our MC right around here. And we're saying x is MCX, y is MCY, and those are properties being passed into our level right here. So, oh, MXX, whoopsie daisies, had a typo. That would be y. Boom, all better. Cool. Occasionally, I used to play a bunch of games and stream those. Sometimes I stream chess. Most recently, I streamed some Code Wars. Dude, that sounds sick. What is Code Wars? That sounds amazing. Also, you know what? Because we're now going to be interacting with NPCs, I'm actually going to pass in the MC Africa not fight version, the passive version. Oh, I'm importing them twice, which is a mistake. Don't need that. Do need delete that and delete fight, and the normal non-fighting version of him is just called MC Africa. Oh, MC Africa is not defined. Thought it was called MC Africa. What do we change it maybe? So that would be under sprites NPC. Oh, no, sprites PC. Yeah, MC Africa. Oh, hold on. What was I importing? Sprites PC MC Africa. Oh, just because I had a small c there. Another typo. Mabi. Typos are like sometimes the easiest code errors to spot and other times the hardest. So this is our version of the character that doesn't fight with the world. He doesn't shoot guns, he doesn't aim at the mouse, he doesn't do anything. His arms just move on their own accord as you're running around. This was the original version of our character before we implemented the point and shoot gun logic. But because we're in sort of a safe zone in the game for this level, we don't need the point and shoot gun logic because our clicking or touching on the touch of devices are going to be used to interact with our environment and talk to people like this guy and so on and so forth. And Brennan Ken, you said pretty much just coding challenges and you can level up and stuff. That sounds really cool, man. I might do some of those streams in the future. That sounds really fun. And then you asked, what kind of games do I enjoy playing? Personally, I really enjoy old school Game Boy games, and basically old school Nintendo games are my favorite. I've actually got right here, believe it or not, I have two cool things. I have Pringles, but I also have it's show and tell time now. Hold on, I'm gonna switch over to the big screen, and yeah, so check this out, you guys. Just a little tangent here on the stream, but check this out. This is the first ever game console I ever received. Game Boy Color, Pikachu edition. Oh, Pikachu and Pichu. So it was the one, it must have been the one for maybe Pokemon Crystal or Pokemon Gold or something. And this right here is the game that started it all for me. Hopefully that's not super blurry. My camera's not the best, but and I'm also streaming 720 because that's the best my computer can handle. But anyways, this game right here is the game that inspired all my entire game development and programming career spawned from this game. Zelda: The Oracle of Seasons was a game that completely captivated me in the sense that I was really amazed by, hopefully my audio is not lagging, but anyways, I was really amazed by the fact that there was this entire little miniature world complete with seasons and like characters you could talk to and items you could find and all this stuff and dungeons you could explore and the whole world you could explore, and it was all packed into this little box, and that just triggered my curiosity in such a way that I have never experienced before, and still to this day have yet to experience anything that is so enticing and cool and just excites me. Like you said, Brendan Can, you said that you've been addicted to code since you started. That was basically my experience too. And anyways, this is the other system I've got hanging around. Check it out, Super Nintendo. How's that for OG? I haven't got it hooked up to anything at the moment, but I've got all the wires around here somewhere, so I can do that in the future. But yeah, the reason Zelda was such a big deal for me was it just inspired. Yeah, it inspired. I decided at that point that I wanted to learn how to make these worlds and these all this stuff that like I was enjoying playing. I wanted to start creating it, and I was lucky enough that my mother discovered a summer camp for kids that teaches them how to code Flash games back when that was a thing. This kind of starts to date it a little bit. We were coding Flash ActionScript 2, so that should give you some estimate of A, how long I've been coding, and B, how old I am, because I'm an old man, basically. But yeah, and when I did this summer camp, it was just 1 week long, but I absorbed like as much as I possibly could. Brendan Ken, you said you first played Pokemon Silver in 2nd grade. Nice, man, that's awesome. I was actually foolish enough to. My parents were smart. They bought the Game Boy Color, and the first game they got to go with it for me, because I think I would have been maybe between 8 and 10 years old when they got it for me for my birthday. And yeah, they actually got me Pokemon Gold, but I was such like a fool that I was said, no, I don't want Pokemon Gold. Let's take that game back, and instead of that, I'm gonna get Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Not like a legit tried and true Kirby, like the brand new like Kirby with strange gameplay mechanics that like shocked the world. So anyways, that was my and I couldn't get past like the 2nd or 3rd level or something, and I was just stuck there forever. Anywho, I should have got Pokemon Gold is the moral of that story. And the moral of the other story is just that I did this summer camp. It went really well. I learned a lot about how to like code the very basics of games, just character movement, hit tests for like walls and collecting items and stuff. And I made, despite them trying to stop me because of copyright and so on and so forth, I made my own little mini Zelda game. And anyways, I kept learning on my own after that 1 week camp. And then eventually, when I was 18, it actually came full circle. And switch back to me for a minute, because we're just chatting for a minute here. And it came full circle because when I was 18, applied for a job with that. It was called Byte Camp, the summer camp. I applied for a job with them, and I got it, and I became an instructor for Byte Camp. So that's what I mean when I say I went full circle. I started as a student and became an instructor. And that was my first ever real tech job. So yeah, it was cool. And the one last thing I want to add about this is the reason that I'm making these games that we're working on these streams, I'm making them open source, and they're all on GitHub. They're, well, all as in 1.5 basically, but thanks, man. Thanks, Brendan Kahn. You said, wow, that's pretty dope. Just to finish off the story, the reason I'm making all my games open source and making all of the plan is to make all of the graphics that I'm drawing for the games and everything all Creative Commons and basically as reusable as possible. The reason I'm doing it that way and making it all open source without, I mean, it still technically has a copyright, but it basically, more or less, it's copy left. It's very copy left in the sense that you can do what you want with the source code. You can remix it, or you can try and contribute to the main one, blah, blah, blah. The reason I'm doing it this way is because that really rubbed me the wrong way when those instructors told me, even though I loved Zelda and I had so many great ideas for my own little version of the game, sorry, I wasn't allowed to do it because it's all copyrighted to Nintendo, and there's a chance I'd get sued and they'd get sued and blah blah blah. And I think that's just not the way to go for game development. And personally, I'm hoping to help create this is going to sound dramatic, but create a future where more game developers create open source content like this for their games and monetize off of it in sort of indirect ways, like by creating communities and gaining patrons or subscribers on Twitch or whatever, just finding creative ways to monetize and make a living off of what they're doing without ruining the integrity of the game with ads and microtransactions and all that stuff that everyone always complains about. Anyways, speech over. And Brendan Ken, you said, do I work as a developer now? Up until the very beginning of this year, I was, but I sort of came to the realization that as much as I had a really decent job and I really enjoyed the people I worked with, as much as I enjoyed all that stuff, I honestly, I just wanted to make these games my own projects. I decided I had to make that my priority in life over my career, and my career was just causing too much stress for deadlines and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I just decided one day that, you know what, if it's not going to work out with this company, I ended up getting let go, but if it's not going to work with that company, then I don't think it's going to work anywhere. And this is, at least for right now, this is where my heart is. This is what I want to be working on. And I'll just work any job I can to support myself until my Patreon page grows to a point where I can support myself off of that. So yeah, end speech number, it's a 10, 4, 3,000, who knows. I do have a tendency to go off on tangents in speeches, so if any of you want me to calm down a little bit, just say so, and I'll just shout out on the chat, say, Kirk, calm down, we've heard enough, just write some code, and I will do such. So again, I hope that's kind of an overly lengthy answer to your question, Brendan, but there you go. Anywho, back to this. Everything is actually working quite as we expected. We've got our new sprite. We just need, one thing I spotted right away is that he's not moving, so we need to create the animations for him and get all that working. And the place where we create all of our animations is actually in our preloader. Mr. Teen Corn says, dreams are not allowed here, angry face. Well, I'm gonna just be a rebel, I guess. Sorry, bro. But feel free to call the Dream Police. I'll fight them. I'll get in a fight with the Dream Police. And we'll live stream it. But hopefully that's not a real thing. Of course it's not a real thing, but anyways, I'm going all over the place here. So, point is, we need to create an animation for our, we need to create like an animation in memory of the instance of our game, blah blah blah. We just have to define the parameters of the animation that we have loaded in in our sprite sheet, because one sprite sheet of course could hold many animations. So jump blast, we have the same problem. See how this one says frames and this one says frame without the S? That was a bug that I debugged to the ends of the earth, and for the life of me could not figure out for a very long time. And then one day I was like, oh, and it clicked, and I found that there was one S missing from that key, and that was literally the only thing I had to change, and then it worked like a charm. So yeah, that's coding for you in a nutshell sometimes. Brendan Ken says, I've been streaming for 5-ish years, so if you ever have stream questions, I'm available. Dude, thank you for that. I will definitely hit you up either here on Twitch, but I'm a lot more active in our Discord community when I'm not streaming. So if you do end up joining our Discord, I'll hit you up there. But if not, I can hit you up here too. So thank you for that, dude. I will definitely take you up on that. Anyways, we need to create an animation in the same way that we created our pink portal animation, because again, all of our other animations are created with the Atlas, the JSON Atlas file method, whereas this one is just a straight PNG, nothing fancy. So this one is going to be our engineer NPC examining his doodad. So we're gonna pass in a few things here. So first of all, the key is not gonna be burned because we can't have duplicate keys, and plus it wouldn't make sense. So our key for the animation, let's just say, will be, let's just call it engineer examine, or engineer idle. Use this consistent format here. Oh, hold on. Brandon Can says, oof, is frame a keyword? Like VSC wouldn't point out that there's something wrong in that case. It's a keyword within phaser, but it's not like a JavaScript keyword. It's just a phaser keyword. So yeah, it wouldn't be, it maybe in the future somehow it'll be able to figure that out, but at the moment it doesn't. I don't think it figures that out. Yeah, it just says property frames any, and it doesn't know about the definition of it, so yeah. Or I guess we're defining it here, but doesn't know about any defaults or anything, so no luck. But anyways, the key for our engineer animation is going to be engineer idle, and the frames we need to once again open up. Actually, sorry, not here. We want Synfig Studio, our fantastic two-dimensional animation software that is also open source. It's technically not free. It's a pay what you want model, but you are allowed to type 0 for the price if you're strapped for cash like myself. It is software that I plan on going back and buying a license for when I have the funds to do so, but at the moment I am flat broke, so yeah. And Brandon Ken says, oh god, you use Linux, scary. What do you use? Are you Windows or Mac? So anyways, we want to ping pong between the frame number 0 and frame 12 is our two keyframes. So he's going to be doing this. He's going to be going like whoop, 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 examining this back and forth. Windows, cool, man. So anyways, frame 0, frame 12, I got to remember that. Start 0, end 12, frame rate 12 should be good. And repeat is -1, which just means it's going to repeat indefinitely. Otherwise, you can tell it a certain amount of times to repeat. Now, there's going to be one more property that we want, and that's going to be like ping pong or something like that, so that it oscillates between the start and the finish, going forwards and backwards, instead of just going forwards straight through to the end and then restarting and so on. And Brandon Ken, you says, you despise Apple even though you own an iPhone. Yeah, man, you know, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, as much as I think Apple makes really, really, really beautiful hardware, but I'm not a big fan of their software. And also, I don't really like their kind of like, ooh, we're so cool, we're so fancy image. I'm not really a big fan of that. I'm Linux for life, man. I'm all about the Linux life. It captured my heart much in the same way as game development did, but for an operating system, I guess. Are there any games I would recognize that were developed in some sort of JavaScript? It's a great question, man. I think if you believe it or not, I believe Angry Birds was originally a Canvas game. I think. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was originally a Canvas game that got ported over to mobile. So if it was indeed a Canvas game, then it would have been an example of one that was developed in JavaScript. I don't think TypeScript would have been around back then, so probably JavaScript. But I could be wrong on that. That's just kind of me pulling that out of my butt. But I think that's a thing I heard. So yeah. That would be the most famous one I could think of. Anyways, what am I searching? Right. Let's say phaser3, and what's the function called? It's anims.create, anims.create, and we want ping pong. Missing ping pong, missing ping pong. Let's just say anims.create docs. This should bring us the documentation. Animation class manager sounds good to me. What functions does it have? So we are looking at create. So it has add, but that's not what we want. We want create. Here we go, config. Now the config that we're passing in is where? Where's the phaser.structs.map? I don't, is that it? Or is that its return type? Wait, did I scroll somewhere weird? Yes, I did. My mouse likes to just scroll to where it feels like scrolling. It just likes to go wherever it feels like, but it only does it once, and then after I like reload everything, it seems to be fine. But it's just that is like, with as much as I love Linux, you do get a little bit of like weirdness every now and then with random things, and also often with installing stuff. But you know, it's worth it. It's worth it because it is the best operating system for developing stuff, period. Anyways, that's what it returns. That's fires that, and we just want the config, which is, here we go, phaser.animation.types.animation. Beauty. So we've got key, we've got frames, we've got default texture key, which is interesting, frame rate, which we're using, duration, which we're not using, skip missed frames, delay, repeat, repeat delay, yo-yo, that's what we want. I thought it was ping pong, but it's yo-yo, same kind of idea. So repeat is -1, and yo-yo, not yoy, yo-yo will be true. Brandon Can, you're gonna hit the hay. Have a good night, man. I'll join the Discord in the AM when I get on my PC. Peace. Have a good one, man. Yeah, dude, peace to you too. If you have any trouble, like if you sign up for the thing and you don't get the email, Chrome operating system is the best operating system. Lol. I actually own a Chromebook, believe it or not, and I was using it as my development machine for a while, but more on that some other time. Okay, you're out for real. Have a good one, man. Yeah, if you have any trouble with the Discord, just shoot me a message on Twitch and I'll send you a link. Hey, bro, says DJ Dryfell. Tell me if I'm butchering your name. If I am, I apologize. How's it going, dude? What were we doing? So we just created our animation and we just now have to play it. So in our level 1, which we're extending level, we should, in theory, just be able to go engineer.anims.play and pass in the key that we specified over there, which is engineer-idle, and true, which is some argument that I actually don't know what it does, but I always set it to true. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. That's because I have the wrong texture being passed in. We want npc-engineer. Oh, I see. This is my first time on Twitch. Just download the app, lol. That's sick, man. And it's DJ Rifle? I'm gonna say Rifle. DJ Rifle. Sounds cool, man. And you're an iOS developer. Cool, dude. Right on. Do you do that with Swift? Just out of curiosity. And what I'm working on is I'm building an open source JavaScript game using ES6 JavaScript, Webpack, Babel, and Phaser 3. Sounds more complicated than it is. It's actually pretty straightforward. And we're currently in the process of building up the framework of kind of abstracting the phaser logic into, we're creating another layer of logic between our game and phaser, which is kind of like our own little mini framework of things that are specific to our game. So for example, we created a level class, which we can extend. We can create as many levels as we want by extending the level class. We created this NPC class, which we can create NPCs from by extending. We have an enemy class, which we can create enemies from. You get the idea. And you said yes, Swift. F objective C, LOL. Even though anyone can read the thing in the chat. I don't know. I'm trying really hard not to swear on the stream, but it's not going very well. So don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I've never done any iOS development. The closest thing I've done to iOS development is developing. I created an app for a cafe franchise once using React.js, and I wrapped it with Apache Cordova. So it was technically a web app underneath, but it was wrapped in a web view, and then it just it was a Chromeless web view, so it would just render and look like a regular app, basically. I don't know. Works. It worked. We weren't doing anything super performance heavy, so it was fine for our purposes. And the nice advantage is you can, of course, quite easily export it for iOS as well as Android, Windows Phone, and like maybe even more targets now, but back then it was just those ones. But yeah, still handy. But I have always been curious about like legit native app development. That's always something I'm curious about. DJ Rifle, as a native app developer, just again out of curiosity, is it like slightly annoying for you that there's people developing all of these methods of writing web code and having it compile into native apps? Or like, is that annoying for you, or is that cool? I'm curious to know your stance on the matter. Anywho, yeah, there we go. So now he's examining his doodad. He's going a little fast, but he is indeed moving it left to right, which is exactly what we were going for. I'm a borderline. Oh no, it's awesome. Okay, cool, man. Right on. I'm like a borderline professional game developer. I wouldn't really call myself a professional game developer. I've sold 2 sponsorships on very old like Flash games that I created a long time ago, and I have 2 patrons for these open source games that I'm creating, donating a total of $2 per month. So I mean, you could technically make the argument that I'm being paid to develop games and therefore I'm professional, but yeah, I've never worked as my job title has never been game developer. I've always been like full stack developer or back-end developer or sometimes UI developer or a couple times UI developer. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, let's just slow him down a little bit because he's a little fast. So we can do that by reducing the frame rate in our where we're creating our animation. Which again, see, my mouse just likes to scroll places randomly. It's really annoying. Let's cut it in half, break it right down to 6 frames per second and see what this looks like. So it's a little choppy. He's kind of going, but it's not too bad actually. I think let's maybe just up it to like 8, and that should probably be smooth enough for our purposes. Yeah, so that's good. It just looks like he's kind of like looking at it from different angles. That's sort of what we were going for this character. And yeah, so with that in place, I'm pretty happy to commit all this code, get it online so that you guys can test it on the live demo, and close out this issue, because this is the one we were working on, Engineer NPC class, and yeah, it's looking pretty good to me. So let's get looking at our diffs and get pushing code online. Holy goodness me, I've got a lot of stuff in my status. Wow. Oh, but it's a bunch of files that I've got a bunch of deleted and untracked files, so that just means I've moved a bunch of files. Well, not necessarily, but in this case, I just moved a bunch of files, so it's actually fine. But git diff, we're not going to show the diffs on the binary files because that would just be ginormous. And this map is going to just hurt our eyes, so let's be a little more specific with our git diff. We'll say git diff, not level1.json, not tmx, because those are both generated by programs. source/scenes would be a good place to drop our git diff. And what this is just doing is showing us all the code that we just changed in the last, well, since the beginning of this live stream. And I just like to review these before I push anything online, just to make sure I'm not pushing anything weird or accidental to a production environment. So I advise you all do the same if you're familiar with Git. Anywho, so we're loading the engineer sprite sheet image. We're creating the animation in the preloader, and we just fixed the jump blaster animation in just the create function as well, with that same frames bug we had, frame versus frames. And now we've got our level class, in which we're now importing our MC Africa instead of our MC Africa fight. And I should have done that from the level 1 class, but whatever. We're gonna change all that later anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Then we're in our level 1 class. We're now, in our create function, we're instantiating a new instance of our engineer class, which is our engineer NPC. And we're positioning him, giving him a key, passing in the scene so that we have access to all that stuff inside the engineer. And we're playing his idle animation, putting him in an array of NPCs, and passing that array along with the MC Africa class into our init scene function, and so on and so forth, and it's all Gucci. And now our level class, the init scene, is now accounting for NPCs as well as enemies. So we have an extra array tracking all those, and an extra physics group being added, and we're adding colliders between our NPCs and the solid layer, just like we're doing with enemies, so that stuff doesn't fall through the ground or the walls or whatever. And Rubadub TV says, hey, what's up, Rubadub TV? Can I just say that I love your username, good sir or madam. Yeah, you've got like one of the best usernames I've seen in a while. DJ Rifle's good too, but Rubadub TV has a I like the comedy there. That's awesome. No problem, dude. Anyways, and then after adding the colliders, we're just managing the depths of all of our layers and our groups, so that the layering is all correct and nothing is being shown in front of stuff when it should be behind stuff, and so on and so forth. So blah blah blah. The point of the matter is all the diffs are looking good to me. So just confirm that we're on the right branch. I know this is a lot of work just to get some code pushed online. You could make the argument, why would we not just upload this through FTP or something? But trust me, Git is the way to go, especially for open source stuff like these projects. So anyways, we have to say git add everything to stage all of our changes, like so. There's a ton of changes, but we have them all staged now. And we'll say git commit to create a commit on our branch. And we'll say, we have a format for creating commits if you guys ever work on any of these projects with me in the future. Just if you're working on a specific issue, you type the number, you reference number and the issue number in your commit message. So you say number 49 in this case, and we'll say creates engineer NPC class. And also, if you're ever working directly on master, which you shouldn't be, but I do it sometimes, and if you're ever in a situation where you're doing something that isn't for a specific issue, you just type number and you say n lowercase a capital N. Capital N lowercase a capital N for not a number, which those of you familiar with JavaScript will recognize right away as a type, which is not is a thing it's a thing in JavaScript, is not a number. It's just yeah, they have a function isNan. It means is not a number, which is kind of backwards and confusing, but anyways. So here we go. So git commit, boom. Now we can say just say branch one more time, so we know what branch we're pushing to, and we'll say git push origin to push it to the remote server, and say kirk-49-npc-engineer, which you will see is the branch highlighted in green, which is the branch we're currently on locally, but we have to specify this branch again in our push command so that we create a new branch on the remote with the same name and sync everything up. And It's all beautiful. So here we go. Push origin, Kirk NPC engineer. And just like that, we have, as you can see, new branch, Kirk NB49 NPC engineer, blah, blah, blah. And if we, whoops, hold on. If we reload this, you'll see because we referenced the issue number, it shows up as a commit on the issue. So wicked, we have feature tracking integrated with our code. Beautiful. And now anyways, I'm gonna head back to the repository main page here. And actually I'm gonna send this and put this in the chat for you guys, because if you guys feel like checking this project out, it is open source, so you are free to either try and champion an issue if you feel like working on something that we already have logged in our backlog, or if you have some idea for the game and you think something is missing and we need it, feel free to fork the repository into your own GitHub account, make changes, and then make a pull request merging, attempting to merge those changes back into the master branch of this, the original, the No Place Like on my account. And if I'll check it out, I'll review it. If everything is all good, I will merge it in. If there's changes and tweaks that I would like you to make, I'll just put some comments somewhere and tag you in it so that you know what's up. And yeah. And yes, Rub-a-Dub TV, using Phaser, indeed. Phaser.js is my favorite JavaScript development, game development framework. My friend introduced it to me a long time ago, and I freaking love it. I come from a Flash background, so I find it reminiscent of Flash, even though it's made great improvements over Flash. It's reminiscent of ActionScript 2 Flash, or maybe more like ActionScript 3 now, but anyways. Point is, I'm making a pull request. Looks good. Good. And we'll say ship it. Ship it. So we got to get that emoji game on point, especially on GitHub. They have good emojis on GitHub. Create pull request. And right there we have our, this is important, so you guys can see the emoji game on GitHub. Look at that. That is the ship it emoji, aka my favorite emoji, aka a stealthy spy squirrel, and also a ship just to signify that we're shipping code, and then the ship it squirrel once again because he's cool. And these automated tests were just added by Netlify automatically. We could wait for them to finish, but they sometimes hang and they take a long time, so I'm actually just going to merge the pull request in right now. We didn't add any of those tests, they just automatically thought we needed them, so it's not the end of the world if we skip over them and just merge it, so no big deal. Anyways, now that that's merged into master, we have our Git repository hooked up to a Netlify account, so the game automatically gets built and deployed to Netlify. It takes maybe like 2, 3, 5 maximum minutes to build it, but once it's built, it will be available for you guys to play on this URL, and I'm just going to drop it in the chat right here, like that. Oh, and Rub-a-Dub TV, you said, yeah, I've been writing my own game engine and rendering engine. That's sick, dude. Good luck, and let me know how you get on. Are you, Rub-a-Dub TV, are you going to be open sourcing that, or is that closed source? Anywho, there is just one little tweak I need to make for you guys to be able to test the very latest code, but I don't know if I'm actually going to do that yet, because if we head over to our production URL, the noplacelike.netlify.com, you'll see, for one thing, it shows you a title screen, which we skip in development mode, just because it's annoying to watch this title animation every single time you want to test something. But this is on the production version. It's got the nice title screen. Well, okay title screen. I want to make this a little bit better, but yeah. Okay, so it's still taking you to the old map for now, which is actually okay because our new map is not quite ready for it yet. So I'll switch the wire. I'll rewire things up properly when our new map is done. But for now, you guys can check out this map and shoot some robots with a shrink ray and just generally mess around. But anyways, Rub-a-Dub TV, you said in JavaScript, and yeah, you will be open sourcing both, but not the game that I'm building on top of it. fair enough, man. That's like the pretty standard way of doing things. I just decided to open source my game because, like, I want people, for one thing, I want to make like a cool, like, memorable game that like kids will play and people will play and enjoy and be nostalgic about in the future. Because like what game developer doesn't want to do that, of course? But I want to do that. But I also want those games to be as copy left as legally possible, in the sense that people are allowed to reuse the characters. If people really like the characters and they had an idea for a spin-off game, they're allowed to take my game and remix it into their spin-off game, and blah blah blah. People are allowed to do whatever they want with it. That's what I'd like to. That's the world, the future I'm shooting for. And Rub-a-Dub TV, you said, yeah, that's really cool. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Anyways, let's move on to the next issue I wanted to tackle in this stream. I assigned myself the 2 issues that I wanted to do just in this stream. And since we just merged this in, we merged the pull request, it shows it right here. I'm going to say ship it once more, because I really like that emoji. And then I'm going to say closing comment. So boom, close the issue. And now let's move on to the other one I assigned myself. You can see my little face here. Basic dialogue system, another enhancement. And this is where I was very excited to go with the stream. It is 11:14, and normally I end these streams at midnight, but I think this merits going a little bit later tonight if we can get a decent chunk of this working. So basic dialogue system, here we go. And Rub-a-Dub TV says, my game will have an open development environment, but the developers won't have access to the engine, just an API on top of it for building levels, NPCs, etc. That's a neat idea, man. That's pretty cool. So people can still like contribute to your games in a sense. It's just structured in a different way, I suppose. That's cool, man. Anyways, our basic dialogue system, the problem, so to speak, is we need basic text. I'm saying subtitle style because we plan on adding voiceovers in the future once we can source voice actors and stuff, and hopefully have the money to do that. Dialogue system with a generic text UI class that can be extended for creating menus with various options linking to callbacks. I'm not actually 100% if we're going to make this text UI class. I wrote that there because I thought that was a good idea at the time, but my new solution says otherwise. And you can, I'm not going to read through all of this right now. I'm just going to drop that in the chat. And if you guys feel like reading the details about what we're working on, that is a little write-up of it right there with a proposed solution to the problem. So let's boot up, or actually let's do a little bit more Git management-y stuff. Netlify is free. It has paid features, but everything I use on it is free, and I have not encountered any problems with limitations or anything like that. It's honestly like my favorite deployment system. It's amazing. So anyways, let's go Git status. So we're on Kirk49 NPC engineer. We want to say Git checkout master, and we'll say Git pull origin master to pull the latest pull request we just merged. And now that we have that, we can check out from Git checkout from master -b flag to create a new branch, and say Git checkout -b Kirk dash, and I always type the issue number next, so Kirk dash 51 for this issue, and we'll say dialogue, or let's say basic dialogue, because we'll come back and make a more advanced dialogue later, but we'll say basic dialogue. And now we're on a new branch, and we're hunky-dory, and we can say npm run start to boot up our dev server, and away we go. Oh shoot, wow. Sorry, you guys were following and I didn't hear the noise. Sorry guys, yo, shout out to Braden Ken for following. I think you signed off a little bit a while ago, but thank you for following, good sir, if you ever watch this in the future. And also to Matukas, Matukas, I think, for following. The text is really small. It's hard for me to read. And also for Mr. Teencorn for following. Wow, thank you guys. That's amazing. Anywho, yeah, let's get started with our basic NPC or our basic dialogue system. So what I'm thinking is we'll display the subtitles, but okay, yeah, let's see what my solution is, because I already planned this all out. So hopefully my plan will make this go a little smoother than normal. Although we have mixed success on this channel. We sometimes things go really smooth, other times they're brutal and hair pulling, lots of that, but other times they go really smooth. So first things first is we're going to say give NPCs, eventually with a base NPC class. We actually already built a base NPC class, so we'll put this dialog property in the base NPC class. So let's do that first. So npc.js, and we'll say right here, we'll create a property called this dot, what do we call it? Dialog. And we'll initialize it as an empty object, but eventually we will be updating it to have many things. Or even better, we could say config.dialog. Yeah, actually, this is a better way of doing it. I don't know why I went through the rigmarole of writing out we need an init dialog function. They actually don't need that at all. We can just use the constructor. So that's the way to do it. Let's do that. And we now need to create a talk in order and a talk random function that will interact with our dialog object and start triggering the UI to show our text for our subtitles and so on and so forth. So before we do that, I'd just like to initialize, make a basic dialog that we can just do some testing on while we're building this out. So where we initialize our our engineer right here, where we're passing in, or actually, sorry, this is where we're creating the engineer class. We want to go where we're initializing it, which is in level 1. And in level 1, we'll say engineer equals new engineer, and key, all that stuff is good, but we'll add one new property, which is dialog. Very cool. And this will be an object. And now let's figure out the structure of this dialog object. I had a few thought I had a few ideas for this, but maybe not. Oh, funny. I thought I came up with a point list for this. Whatever. We'll just make it up on the spot. So I guess each, it would make sense for each piece of dialogue to have a key to it. So for now, let's say let's say opening, just for his opening line is that. We'll give him or let's say, let's just say got junk maybe, or hello. Let's call it hello. That's a nice way of doing it. So hello, and then we'll say got junk line in the dialogue, and we'll say a secret or new actually make this nice and say got junk with a capital J, new weapon. And Rubadub TV, you said, want to see a sample of the game I'm building on top of my engines, just deployed it with Netlify. Hey man, yeah, totally, dude. Send a link on over, and I'll open it up on the stream and share it with, right now it's just you and me by the look of it, but still, I'll check it out. So thanks, man. Yeah, send it over. Aren't these automatic URLs that Netlify creates just awesome, by the way? Stupefied Hypatia. You can only use it in Chrome at the moment. Not to worry, I test other stuff in Chrome sometimes, but hey man, cool. Rad, dude. Oh, this is sick, man. Nice, and you've got collision detection so you can't go through bushes and rocks and what have you. Oh, and the layering is all nicely done so you can go behind the tree but also still collide with it. Dude, this is sick. And I see you're displaying like your username under there. A to grab things and D to drop bombs. Cool, man. Oh, wow. Nice, dude. This is cool. Very cool, man. Thanks for sharing this with me, dude. This is sick. Rub-a-dub TV, if it's not too bold of me to ask, baddie number 6. Awesome. I like the artwork for the baddie guy, too, by the way. This is awesome. If it's not too bold of me to ask, oh, I can't lift up rocks, I guess. Just bushes, maybe. Cool. If it's not too bold of me to ask, push. No. I want it to blow up on him. Boom. Nailed him. And, anyways, yeah, you should totally join our Discord. I'll just cut to the chase, and that's what I was going for, is because, our Discord is sort of a we're going for a non-judgmental creative community centered around open source and game development, and doesn't mean your game has to be open source, doesn't mean anything has to be open source, but if you would like to join our Discord community, you are more than welcome to, good sir. So that'd be awesome. We'd be happy to have you. And also, you said, oh, you can pull and push the rocks. You can move rocks and hit other objects. Yeah, pull and push. Let's try that. How do you... Oh, cool, man. Dude, this is brilliant. This is sick, dude. This reminds me of Zelda. Oh, maybe I can't push into the water. Not sure if pushing's working, but pulling's definitely working. How big is the world? Man, I think you're gonna do really well with this game, man. This is cool. And I like the graphic style, too. It's really, it's unique. To put, oh, without grab, just walk into it to push. Okay, cool. It's a small world just for testing the engines. I'm actually going for a Zelda MMO. Dude, hell yeah, that's sick, man. Zelda's like, I don't think you were here for this, but I was explaining earlier how, switch over to me for a second. I was explaining earlier how my entire passion for game development all originated. I've got this big backstory that I already explained once on this stream, so I won't delve into it again too deep, but the point is, Game Boy Color, my first ever game system, and this is the game for me that started it all. Zelda it's kind of blurry, but Zelda the Oracle of Seasons. That's, this is the game that inspired me to become a coder, game developer, techie, dork person that I am today. So, yeah. So I feel you on the love of Zelda, man. That's awesome. I'm gonna favorite this if you don't mind. I'd love to watch development as you go. I'll check in every now and then. Oh, Zelda Link to the Past. Yup, that's a really good one too. That was another one of the ones that I actually made it all the way through. I beat the whole game. I was very proud of that. Zelda Link to the Past was awesome. The whole like dark world, light world concept was super cool, man. That was like revolutionary. I'll just be right back. I'm just gonna grab some water. I am super parched, man. I should have had some sitting by me for the beginning of the stream, but I'll be 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. All right. Water, check. Red Bull, why not? Check. Yo, Red Bull, get at me, sponsor me. Just kidding. Just kidding, except not. you'd be happy to join my community. You actually have one as well that's just a general programming and game developer community. Yo, dude, let's cross-pollinate. Let's I'll join mine, you join yours. Or I'll join mine. Sorry, I'm already in mine. I'll join yours, you join mine. That'd be sweet, man. I'd love to join yours, and we'd love to have you. Here, I'll send you a link to where you can sign up and you'll get a Discord link sent to your inbox. Right here. Yeah, ah man, everyone's doing that. Sorry, Rub-a-Dub TV. I haven't set that up yet. I don't know how, actually. And I built like a little form on my site that should email you a link to the Discord, but if for some reason you don't receive it in like any longer than like an hour or two, oh, beta.nightbot.tv, what is that? What is this? Oh dear. I'm breaking Chrome. Your stream simplified. Whoa, what is this? Nightbot is a chatbot for Twitch and YouTube that allows you to automate your live stream's chat with moderation and new features. Neat, man. Thanks, dude. Install for your Twitch. Oh, it's sweet. Well, that answers that. Cool, man. I'll do that. That's how you can install commands. Ah, very cool, man. Thank you for that. I'm still very much a Twitch noob, so this is all very brand new to me. Yeah, if you feel like signing up for the Discord through the forum in the meantime, you're welcome to. If for some reason the forum doesn't work for you, let me know on Twitch, and I will send you a link in a whisper chat. Anyways, let's finish off creating his the basics outline for this guy's dialog object, which is going to be describing the different type, like the conversations you can have with this guy. And the order of these properties is actually important. So there's going to be two functions. One of them is going to be called talk in order, in which he goes through each of his property, like his dialog properties in order. And then talk random, in which case he'll just bounce around between them randomly. Both will have different use cases for different NPC types, of course. And you said the link above is my Discord. I'm filling out your form now, but I gotta switch keyboard quick. BRB. Oh, dude, yeah, fair enough. Do your thing, man. Anyways, new weapon will be like when he's handing, this engineer guy is giving you a new weapon. And actually, I think that'll be it, really, for now. We'll give him like a secret one. That's just going to be hard to access. We'll figure it out somehow. But in between got junk and new weapon, I want to just have a thanks dialogue too. So so for our hello dialogue, we'll say we'll need a property that actually defines what the text of the dialogue is. So for that, we can say something like, I'll just say maybe text. I don't know. Let's call it lines, or I don't know. Shouldn't get too hung up on this. It doesn't really matter. Let's just call it say. Yeah, say works. So say, and we'll say, this guy's going to say, when he says hello, he'll say, hi, I'm, oh, actually, you know what? Hello is going to be a question. So we'll give it a type as well. We'll say type, or we'll say actually question is true. And we'll say, hi, I'm an engineer. Would you like to hear how I can assist you? And then we'll have answers, which will be an array. And in that array, we'll create objects that represent, you might have guessed it, answers. Oh, you said back. Sorry. No, dude, don't sweat it. And Rub-a-Dub TV, you said, is there a reason you have a form for the Discord invite instead of having a forever link? Not like really. I'm still pretty new to all this stuff. The only thing I thought would be like maybe a little bit of additional benefit for people is I was gonna have like a like maybe in the future like a newsletter or something, but I just for now I don't know. But if you don't want to sign up through the forum, dude, don't worry about it. You don't have to. Just I'll figure out how to get it all set up and just come back for a future stream and we'll get you sorted. By the way, thanks for the follow, dude. I just noticed that. Thanks very much. Cheers, bro. Anyways, okay, here we go. So you did anyways. You can help me with all that stuff if I need. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Another thing I plan on... Yeah, you're also a streamer. Right. Cheers, bro. That's sick. I had a inkling that you might be a streamer from the name, Rub-a-Dub TV. It's a good name. Anyways, the first answer for our hello question, which is saying, hi, I'm an engineer. Would you like to hear how I can assist you? Will just be, let's say, reply, yes, what can you do? And then we'll have another answer, which will be reply, nope, I already know. Right now we're just figuring out the data structure for our dialogues, but it's just something like this will work. So when you reply, we're going to have it linked to another key, which will say, the key for this one that it links to will just say, can be... Sorry, I like drum and bass, so anytime I hear a drum and bass song on this playlist, I always take note of it. So Happy by Rob Gasser. Happy Rob Gasser. Cool. Anyways, so this link is going to be referencing the key of another dialog object. The key for this one is going to say like explain, or let's say tutorial, and we'll actually say link to tutorial, and we'll create a new one called, you might have guessed it, tutorial, and we'll fill that one out in a second here. Oh wait, there's a bug with my website. It won't let me sign up. It keeps saying blank is already a recipient. Ah, shoot. Okay, that must be why Buddy was having trouble with it on the last stream. Okay, so don't sweat it, man. I'll send you a link, and I'll just send you a link myself, and I'll try and fix that. But I'm probably going to change that anyways, and instead of sending people a Discord link, NPS, good man. Instead of sending people a Discord link, I'm starting to put together like a game developer, like a JavaScript game developer, like booster pack that comes with like a bunch of free resources and stuff that you can use for your games. That's my new thing I'm gonna do for the email form, I guess. Yeah, you'd recommend as a new community you just have an open link to Discord. Okay, man. Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for the advice. This is all really good stuff for me to know. Good stuff for me to know, and stuff that I totally don't know. So thanks, man. Less friction, more people will join. Yeah, right. Makes sense, man. Totally. So anyways, link this to, so nope, I already know. We'll link you to got junk, because the whole idea with our this NPC that we've just created is you can see he's examining a little box here, but basically he is like a junk master engineer guy. One man's junk is another man's, like any man's junk is this man's treasure, because he will take the items, the little bits and pieces you find, excuse me, out in the field while you're fighting robots, if you bring them back to him, he'll build you new guns, is the idea for this character. This dude with the kind of creepy goggles who's looking back and forth at his precious box. But yes, that sounded a little wrong, but I'm just gonna gloss over that. So anyways, our hello question is basically done. Now our tutorial, we'll just say, let's say, we'll say question will default to false, so we don't need to specify question. But say I'm gonna oh, excuse me guys, sorry about that. For the say property, I'm gonna make it so that you can pass in either a string if you just want a single sentence to be read, or actually, why don't we just do it like this? You, instead of passing in a string, you pass in an array, and that way you can pass in multiple lines if you want it to be like a multi-line conversation, or you want the character to say a few things in a row. So tutorial, we'll say, okay, nice to, or well, not nice to meet you. Maybe he's met before. So, okay, I'll tell you what I do. Then let's break this out a little bit. So boom, boop, boop, boom, boom. Okay, I'll tell you what I do. Excuse me again. I'll tell you what I do. I can make you new weapons. But to do so, I need resources. Some people call it junk, but I can make something out of anything. I can make something out of anything, so it ain't junk to me. Collect resources while out in the field fighting robots, and bring them to me. Then we'll say, or he'll say, especially if you're able to get anything off those damn robots. They have the best, I don't know, the best materials, let's say. So recap, find resources, junk, bring them to me, I'll make you new weapons. Doop-de-loop. And just like that, our tutorial is complete. Because it's not a question, we don't have to specify answers. It'll just continue on to presumably the next next dialogue sequence in the dialogue object for this character. So this one is going to be a question, so we'll say question true, and we'll say should be an array, so array with a string in it, and the string will be, let's just say, what have you got for me today? Question mark. And Smircapum, hello there. Do you use any frameworks for this project? Indeed I do. I'm using the framework called Phaser.js, and I'm using version 3 of said framework. I will send you a link in the chat, so you can check it out, just like that. That's the framework I use right there. So let's see, got junk. He says, what have you got for me today? Answers will be also an array, but these are arrays of objects, which, what was the properties again? Reply and link to. But in this case, we're gonna actually call a callback, but we'll define that later. The reply will be, I've got some stuff, and it's not actually going to link to anything. It'll be like a callback system. So instead of link to, we'll actually say callback, and we'll pass in just an empty function for now. Will the callback receive a property? I guess it should, shouldn't it? I guess we could just pass a reference to the character or the NPC. Oh, thanks. I'm a sweet person. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Anywho, so question. The thanks is not going to be a question. It's just going to be a series of dialogues. So we'll say just a say property, and the say property will be an array. And since we're going to have a couple, we'll space it out. First thing he's going to say is, thanks. I think no, he's confident. He'll say, I'll have something for you in an hour. Come back then. And he'll say, see ya, I don't know, see ya later. Sounds just, sure, see you later, that works. New weapon, new weapon's gonna have to be dynamic somehow, so we'll come back to that, and secret we'll just do some other time. So, okay, now that we've got this whole big dialogue object all defined in our engineer NPC, excuse me, we can then make sure that we pass that config through, which yes we are, because we're using the spread operator right here, thanks to our handy dandy ES6 JavaScript. And so with that being passed through, we can go straight down into the NPC class, which is what we're extending, which apparently I closed, so let's open that up again, NPC. And in NPC is where we're going to implement the functions for talking to someone. So the first function we're going to implement is going to be something along the lines of talk in order is what I'm thinking. So we'll say talk in order, and figure that out in a minute here. We'll just say, leave a comment saying read through dialogues in order until stop property is detected, I guess, or until, let's say, maybe final property. Yeah, or no, I actually like stop, and we'll say start key, so that we can specify which part of the dialogue we want to start on when we talk in order. So implement that in a moment, but we want another function to define, and that's just going to be talk random And I guess we could have nah, it wouldn't really make sense for this one to have a key that we pass in. So it's just going to randomly select, let's see, randomly select a dialog key and randomly select next until, or just randomly select a dialog key and read it. That should be good. Yeah, so that's what we'll have for now for our dialog system. It ought to do the trick. So how are we going to go about doing this? Let's figure this out. This will be fun. Oh, I do have NPC open. Maybe. Close it there, and we'll have engineer open on level 1, where we're defining his conversation, open on the left side. That'll be good, handy. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with this dialog property, which we have access to by this here. We're setting the this.dialog to the configuration.dialog. This right here is the configuration.dialog. We're assigning it to this dot. Now we can access it in these functions. Right. Pardon me. So first thing we're going to want to do is talk in order. We want to get the piece of dialogue, the starting piece of dialogue. So we'll say const, or you know what? Let's just say, I'm going to actually change the names of these functions a little bit here. I'm going to reword them slightly. We're going to say read dialogue. I don't know what we should call these. Dialogue chunk. Just read dialogue is probably fine. And we can say read, or we can say read random. Read random, this should be fine. Read random. Read makes more sense to me. So read random and God, sorry guys. Really happy I'm not wearing a lapel mic right now, otherwise I would have just deafened you guys, but I'm starting to get a cough, I think. So, read dialog will take a key and read it. So, we've got our start key, and actually we can just rename that to key now. And we'll say const dialog, or let's just say const, I don't know what to call this, like blurb or speech, or let's call it blurb. That's kind of a funny word. Blurb equals this dot dialog, and we'll pass in our key. And then what we want to do is we're going to have to somehow get this function, or get this text from this dialog displayed on the screen, which is going to be a fun little challenge for us, but where there's a will, there is a way. So let's get at it. So const blurb equals this dot dialog key, and then we'll say, I'm just wondering now, we've got access to the scene in our configuration. So to me, it would make sense to just do something like this. We'll say this dot scene equals config dot config dot scene, and we'll say this dot scene dot show subtitle, and we'll pass in the blurb object, which it will be expecting this format, so should just handle it nicely, and that actually should be good enough for our read dialog function. So now, let's head on over to our generic level class, from which we extend all of our actual levels. It's just a layer of abstraction between the scene, the phaser scene class, and the actual levels themselves. We made it a little bit easier to create levels. We abstracted a lot of the common logic. So what we need is we need a new function in this here class, And right here we've got the init scene function, which is the main big one, which builds our scene and creates everything for us. It's effectively the create function of our generic level. But this one we're going to say show subtitle blurb. And now this is where we're going to have to start interacting with some text and adding some new stuff into our game. Well, that's all good. We've already got our HP text piece of UI, so we can do something similar. And we'll say create subtitle text. We'll say this dot subtitle equals this dot add dot text. And now this is where we're going to have to get a little bit clever, because we want this game has to be responsive in my opinion. I want this game to work on any size of screen, be it a touchscreen device like a phone or a tablet, or a computer with a keyboard and mouse. So in order to achieve that, we need to be dynamic with our placement of this text. We didn't have to be dynamic with this one. We were able to just say 2020 for the X and Y because we just want it to show up in the top left corner, which X and Y is generally relative to the top left corner. But for this text, we have to be a little bit more clever. So, good Lord. So first things first is we'll say the X can be, let's say 0, or let's give it a little bit of padding between the edge of the map and the, so it's not completely flush. So let's just say 20, same as the HP. So it's 20 on the X-axis, but the Y-axis is actually going to be window dot inner height minus 20, which means it's going to be 20 from the bottom of the screen. It's effectively the same thing as using the bottom CSS property if any of you are familiar and like to write in CSS. I do. CSS is fun. Oh, Red Bull time at 11:55. What could possibly go wrong? So anyways, Claro Wolf, shout out for the follow. Much appreciated. Just noticed that now. Sorry if that was a while ago. Thank you very much. I've got to get like a proper sound effect hooked up so I can hear it and know when people follow. So thank you for that. Anyways, we're just gonna say this is a test subtitle. Really, it will init to an empty string. And the reason I made that quite long is because I want to figure out a way to do word wrapping and have it be kind of dynamic. So that might be a little bit of a challenge, but that's the part that we're going to do right now. Oy. So, okay. And we'll test this on my phone too before we push anything live. Which we might not be pushing stuff, anything more live tonight because we're just getting started on this. We have a lot left to go, and I normally finish these streams off at midnight, but tonight I'm going to keep going a little bit later just because, there's a lot of you, there's a good turnout of you guys, and we are making pretty good progress, so let's keep at it. Yeah, so let's see. Red Bull for the win. 100%, man. It's gotta just be pure poison, but it's like the tastiest poison ever, and it hypes me up and makes me it energizes me, bro. Anyways, cool. So next thing we want to pass in is some configuration into our text. So we'll say font family can be sans serif, just like our handy thingamajig, our that one, HP text, and the color can be, let's say numbers 000 for now, so to make it black. And we're gonna want to set the scroll factor to 0, just like we did with the HP text, which means that when the camera moves, the text will be attached to the camera. So, so we'll say this dot subtitle dot set scroll factor 0. Booyah. So let's just first of all load this up and see what it looks like. And I'm suddenly not seeing it, but we might have to deal with yeah, we gotta specify a depth for it. So just like we're doing with these ones, where we set the HP text, we're gonna set the same depth for our subtitles, because this is kind of like the UI layer, if you will, is the 5th layer, the highest layer. So subtitle set depth 5, so that should layer it in front of everything, and there it is. We've got this is a test subtitle. Really, it will init to an empty string. But actually, now that I look at that, that looks funny to me, doesn't it? That looks not quite right. We need that to be centered. Also, doesn't look like it's 20 pixels from the bottom, which is kind of disconcerting, but anyways, we'll figure it out. Let's say try, oopsies. That's what I'm saying, man. My mouse just likes to, it has a mind of its own. It just likes to scroll places randomly sometimes. I don't know if it's a problem with my mouse or if it's a Linux thing or like what, but it is annoying is what it is. Oopsies. Cool, so that's a little better. It's a little high, but let's just say try 30. I don't know. Just trying to make it look sort of consistent with the HP. But anyways, let's now look into the phaser docs for a moment. So phaser 3 text config docs. Text for the text class, beautiful. And the style is an object, but what it should tell us what the expected, what all the different properties are. That's what we're looking for, all the potential properties. Let's say, what's the function? Add dot text. Let's just search config maybe. Ah, here we go. Oh, no, that's not right. It's phaser input config. Oh, you can set padding. Cool. Okay, so that's good to know. We can set padding, so that's something we'll probably make use of. The style configuration object, but okay, so there's style. Ah, here we go. That's what we're looking for. GameObjects.textStyle. Here we go. So we've got background color, so that's very useful. We're going to make use of that right now. We're going to say color is now, excuse me, FFF for white, and background color, not set background color, just background color is number 000 for black, and let's just take a quick look at that, see if that made a difference. Yeah, look at that. Now we have black background on our text, and it makes it way easier to read. Perfect. And I saw you can set padding, so let's see if we can do that in our style thingamajig. Oh, you can set a tab index on it? That's interesting. Set a tint, that's cool. Tint bottom left, bottom right, blah blah blah, fill, tints, more tints. Type, which is, oh interesting, the textual representation of this game object, okay. Oh, sorry guys, there's activity in the chat, I'm missing it all. Is the character on the right Will Smith's genie? That wasn't the idea, but you know, believe whatever you want to believe, dude. If that's what you see him as, then I give you full permission to believe that. But no, this is the one on the left is our main character who we control and run around and jump as, and he's just this African dude with bleach blonde hair and a cool bandana, because this game is supposedly takes place in somewhere in Africa. And in the future, when there's robots that are trying to kill everyone and blah blah blah, but and then this guy with the slightly darker skin and the big beard and the it's hard to see here, but he's got funny goggles. And anyways, this guy is like our engineer NPC. So he, you go out into the world and you find junk by like shooting down and killing these robots, and you bring this guy all these pieces of junk, and he'll put them together and he'll make new weapons for you. That's his utility in the game. So yes. And Smirked Catman said, I just noticed you're on Linux. That's cool. You're using Arc, by the way. Oh, sick, dude. And Rubadub TV, you develop on Mac. Right on. I had a Mac at my previous job, and I was kind of starting to like it, but to be perfectly honest, I'm a Linux guy for life. I'm a Linux lifer. So anyways, let's get this subtitle styled a little bit more. So background color we've got, align, that's what we want. We want to align it in the center. So, and actually we're gonna make the X dynamic as well. The X is gonna be window.inner width. Instead of minus something, we're gonna divide it by 2, and that'll give us the center point of the on the X axis. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna try saying padding, see if it works, and give it like a padding of 5. I don't know if that's gonna work. That might fail and explode massively, but we will test it in just a moment. And align, yes, we want to say align center. Let's see how this looks now. Reload. Ooh, look at that. The padding worked. That's cool. And we need to move it up a little bit more, so let's do that. Let's move it up by like 50. And it isn't quite, it's centering it from the left side, so we probably need to set the origin point of this text. So we'll say this.set, what is it? Is it body.setOrigin, or is it just set origin? I forget. Are we using references to it up here? Whatever, we'll just try it, and if it errors, we'll try something else. So set origin 0.5 to set it right in the middle, bang smack in the middle of our subtitle. Oh, nope, it didn't like that. That looks like an error to me. This.setOrigin is not a function, so... Oh, yeah, sorry. I wrote this.setOrigin, not subtitle. Mabi. Subtitle. Boom. Sounds like Elysium. Cool stuff. It says raise that something. Yeah, I guess so, kinda, in a way. But the whole thing is there's also like these giant robots that are like roaming the world. So I'll send you guys a link here. This is the live demo. That's like the bleeding edge version of the game. Right there. I just dropped that in the chat for you guys. And that version of the game is, if you play it, the production version shows a title screen after the loading screen, and you can get a sense for like how big the robots are going to be by watching the little intro animation on that title screen. So anyways, yeah, this is a test subtitle, really will init to an empty string, blah, 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 so cool. That's working. Now, we need to make sure though that on very small screens, very thin screens, such as phones and what have you, we need to make sure that the text is wrapping and not getting cut off on either the bottom or the sides. Probably won't ever get cut off on the top, but yeah, on the bottoms or the sides are our concern right now. And by the way, Anon543264, shout out for the follow, bro. Appreciate that. I think I actually caught that one in reasonable time for the first time tonight. Cheers. Thanks, man. Or lady. You are anonymous. You can be whatever you want to be. Anyways, so let's try and reload and just see what happens when we reload it with a kind of mobile side, or better yet, let's emulate mobile and make it something like this, kind of about that big, about yay big. Reload that, and as you can see, our touchscreen controls work nicely. You can if you hold your thumb on either edge of the screen, he'll run in that direction, and if you swipe or nudge up, he will jump. However, our subtitle is not looking so hot, so gotta figure this out now. I guess there's probably a font size property, so we should probably be specifying that too, right? That only makes sense. The W position of this game object? What is the W position? X, Y, sure. Z. Okay. Do not use this value for Z index. Okay, sure, whatever. What are we looking for now? We're visible. That will be useful in a moment, but not quite yet. Ooh, I just realized, you know what we should do? We should set the background color so it's not like a solid black, but instead is RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0 point, like, let's say 0.7. So that, if it works, we'll have it be kind of more of a tint. Yeah, so it's a little see-through now. That's cool. I like that better. But anyways, we got to fix this. We got to get this responsive. So we're going to need to tap into some of these functions and properties and what have you here. So time to research the docs as well as we can. So I don't think, yeah, text we already have. Style isn't going to help us out. State, the current state of this game object. I don't think we're going to need that. Oh, hold on. I think I'm out of the properties now. 1 second. Or is this all properties? Are they all the properties? Oh, I guess they must be. Okay. Alpha, cool. So we can tween that, perhaps. Oh, yo, Angle, wow, holy, guys, thanks for all the follows. Sorry, it's really hard to read it. The text is way too small on my other screen here, but, I'm gonna take a stab at this. Guardian, thank you for the follow, and see that something. Also, thank you for the follow. Cheers to both of you. I appreciate it more than you know. It has more value to me than you can possibly realize. It's awesome. That Zerg 10 is so hot right now, says Rubadub TV. You know, it's funny you say that because it's actually like super hot in my room. I have the heat like cranked for some reason, and yeah, it's kind of not so great. I gotta fix that, but it's okay. I'll fix it after the stream. This is more important. Pipeline, parent container, padding, blah blah blah, origin. This isn't really any of the stuff I'm looking for. Mask, wow, that's interesting. Line spacing, that's cool. Read only. Let's just do some searching. So I'm looking for like a word. Ooh, advanced word wrap. Hello, what is this? Advanced word wrapping algorithm will wrap words as the line grows longer than its horizontal bounds. Okay, so how do we set the horizontal bounds? Consecutive spaces will be collapsed and replaced with a single space. Lines will be trimmed of white space before processing. Throws an error if word wrap width is less than a single character. Beauty. So where do we set word wrap width? Word wrap width. Oh, it's an argument. Might be. Okay, so cool. Advanced word wrap. So this is a method that we have to call, I guess. So let's just, I mean, might as well just try calling it. So this dot subtitle dot advanced word wrap, and we have to pass in text. Okay, so will it not work with the text we already specified? Weird. Just try passing in the, actually I want to try passing in a different text and see what happens, see which one it chooses. So let's say test some other subtitle, title that is pretty long. Also, do not sweat it, bro. Okay, so after text, what is the next argument? Context. So the canvas rendering 2D context. Good lord, how do we get access to that through Phaser? No, undoubtedly there's a way, but I actually have no idea. Oh, there's a basic word wrap and an advanced word wrap. Okay, come on. What's the difference here? I like the sound of the advanced word wrap more, so let's just do something right now. Comment out this line just for a moment, and I'm going to console log this and see if we can access our game's context in some way through this. So this is our level 1. It has all the stuff that we've been adding to it, as well as all the stuff that Phaser adds to it through the scene property that we're ultimately extending. But what we're looking for would come from the level prototype, from the scene, and from, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for like a game. Oh, maybe, yeah, here we go. This dot game, perfect. Game, canvas. Or hold on, there's got to be context. Here we go. Game context, and WebGL rendering context because it's using it's decided to use WebGL, which is good. Oh, why is it zoomed out? That's annoying. Hey, that's better. Now it's not all glitchy. Okay, good. So that was just a problem with the zoom. Perfect. Now we just need to get the word wrapping and the resizing and all that stuff working good. But anyways, level 1 has a game property, which happens to have the rendering context. So we can use that for our advanced word wrap, hopefully. I'm just going to extract that and put it into its own variable, actually. And I'm going to set that right at the top here. We'll just say, who knows, we might end up using this later as well. Could be useful. So const, let's say context equals this dot game, and yeah, that's it. So this is another cool feature of ES6 JavaScript. Because we know that there is this property on the game, this context property, because we know that that's there and it's called context, we can actually, instead of saying like something like this, instead of going like const ctx equals context, which would also work, ES6 allows us to what's called destruct objects and or variables and whatnot. So instead of doing that, you can say add the curly braces around your variable name, and as long as your variable name matches a property on the thing you're assigning it to, yeah, destructuring is cool. Smirt Catman, I love it. I love ES6, dude. Like ES6 is a game changer for me. When I first like started writing it, I was like, I'm never going back. This is too amazing. Anywho, so that's how we can get the context out of the game. And this is already a reference to the scene because we're extending scene, so good, all good there. And we'll be inheriting all of those properties for all of those, all of you object-oriented fans out there, of which I hope there are a lot. Anyways, back to our advanced word wrap. We'll say pass in the context now that we have it. And what was the third argument? I think it was the width, right? So the width can just be the width of our screen. So we could say window.inner width. Dun 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 dun. Moment of truth. Does it work? Uh-oh. It errors like crazy. Context.measureText is not a function. Oh, dearie me. So did we get one of the arguments wrong, or what's going on? Oh, interesting. Context, it was saying context.something isn't. Yeah, context.measureText is not a function. Interesting, so maybe this requires, it says canvas rendering 2D context. Interesting, so does it only work with canvas? Can you not use it with WebGL? That'd be a bummer. Shoot. Darn, I wasn't expecting that at all. Measure text. Bummer. Okay, well. What to do? It's only working for canvas rendering context 2D. Note the canvas, not WebGL. That's a real bummer. I'm gonna make a note of that actually because that could be something that perhaps I'll make a pull request myself on Phaser and see if that's something I can implement. Maybe. I have no idea. I haven't worked directly with WebGL before, only through the Phaser framework, but it'd be fun, it'd be good to learn. Anyways, oh. Right, this is, that's why I wasn't looking at properties. I was looking at, yes, I wasn't looking at properties earlier. I was looking at, the wrong page. My bad. I'm bad. Set word wrap callback. Woo, now this is getting interesting. A custom function that will be responsible for wrapping the text. It will receive two arguments, text, the string to wrap, text object, the text instance. It should return the wrapped lines either as an array of lines or as a string with new line characters placed to indicate where breaks should happen. Oh, that's interesting. So it lets you wrap it yourself, which is kind of neat in a way. Okay, so that's probably a good lead for us. I think we can do that. I'm just looking at the other properties just to see if there's anything else here that might help us out. So for shadow stuff, you can add a stroke to the text. Ah, that's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, why don't we do that instead of having a background color? Stroke over background color for sure. So instead of background color, let's change this to stroke, and we'll say that's black. And stroke width, I think I saw. Oh, stroke thickness might be. Stroke thickness is, I don't know, let's say like 3 for now. Just see what that looks like. 3 pixels, I presume. Oh, right. We're still calling that function. That's erroring. We can just get rid of this because I think we're gonna have to do it a different way. Hey, that's beautiful. Look at that. That nice border on our text. That makes it super readable and really stand out against the background there. And yet it doesn't have the big black background with all the stuff. So actually, we can get rid of the padding to it because we don't really need that anymore. Brilliant. Nice. Okay, so now let's just try and get this word wrapping working. I wonder if it gives us a way of measuring the text. I feel like I saw that on here somewhere. Measure text? That looks like a new class or something. I was expecting it to be, the capital M makes me think it's not a method, but it's oh no, it is a method. Okay. Get text size. Return an object containing dimensions of the text object. Measure text. Calculates the ascent, descent, and font size of a given font style. I don't know what ascent and descent mean, I'm not gonna lie. Add listener, nah. Advanced word wrap, we already tried that. So okay, let's see. It's such a bummer that advanced word wrap is expecting a canvas rendering context 2D when Phaser is supposed to support canvas and WebGL and alternate between the two, as far as I understand. Maybe there have been developments and things have changed. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding of how Phaser worked. Oh, yo, Point Blank Ted, you can force the measurements so you don't have to call it. Ew. Okay. What do you mean, like, force the measurements? Yeah, do you mind just elaborating on that just a little bit for me? I'm gonna keep doing it with this set word wrap callback, but yeah, let me elaborate it just a little bit if you don't mind. I don't fully understand what you mean by force the measurements so you don't have to call it. So we'll say this.subtitle .set what is it? Word wrap callback, and we might as well just pass in a function right here like this. do it all inline. It's not a huge deal. And the arguments it's expecting are, first one is text, and then the other one is text object. So we'll say text, just like they did, and text object. Might as well call it the same thing, just so we're clear. Okay, so now that we've got our text and our text object, let's just console.log both of those things, just to see what we're dealing with here. It describes it in the docs, but this is a nice way to just see it visually for ourselves. Uh-oh, we're getting errors. Cannot read the property split of undefined. Shoot, what's going on? Rub-a-dub TV, just so you know, Point Blank Ted is one of our long-time viewers. I say long time with scare quotes because, you know, I've been streaming since the beginning of 2019, so we're March now, which is cool, but anyways, yeah. Whoa, pause before potential out-of-memory crash. That's a thank you, new RAM. This error, I kid you guys not, used to crash my streams because at one point I only had 4 gigs of RAM on my machine, and yeah, this would literally surpass that every now and then and just crash the whole stream. Crash OBS, crash everything. And anyways, but now now I've got 8, so it actually can get to this pause before it Chrome can figure out what's happening before all hell breaks loose. But anyways, for one thing, why is it being called over and over and over and over and over? Are we doing this in an update function? I don't think so. Yeah, we're doing this in the init scene function, are we not? Yeah, we most certainly are. Rub-a-dub TV, developing around 25 years, about 10 in games. Damn, Point Blank Ted, that's awesome, man. Rub-a-dub TV says, you savage. That's amazing, Point Blank Ted. I didn't realize you had that much experience, man. That's amazing. I'm your humble Padawan, good sir. Okay, it is 25 minutes past midnight, so I gotta be a little bit cautious of the time here, but I'm in the industry for about 10, but we don't do game development. Fair enough, Rub-a-dub TV. And what did you say about the community? I was just saying that Point Blank Ted is one of our longtime viewers, and I say longtime viewers with scare quotes just because I've only been streaming since the beginning of January. And Rub-a-dub TV says you do game development for fun. Right on, dude. Isn't that like why we all got into it? You know, that's what it's all about. We don't need to console log this anymore. That's not really helping us out. I'm just gonna try commenting this out and see if that solves the error, this split error of undefined. And we were paused in the debugger, but yeah, we're good now. Okay, yeah, so it's coming from this error, oh, I see what's going on. I know what we have to return something. Excuse me. So let's return, let's just say text, let's just say text plus dupe, just to test it out here. There we go. Now we're getting it without errors. Perfect. So that's good. That's what we want. And Point Blank Ted says, yep, it was a hobby that became my job. Super sweet. Very super sweet, Point Blank Ted. That's amazing. And Rub-a-dub TV, you're asking Point Blank if he's got game dev or web dev experience. Maybe. Well, that's you guys talking. I don't need to narrate that. That's all you. Anyways, yeah, let's figure out this. I feel like the answer lies within this set word wrap callback, and we can do all this in here. We just need to figure out basically we need to figure out the width of the characters is what I'm imagining. So I'm just going to console log just the text object this time. I'm going to poke around in it and see what's what and what we can leverage here. So it's a text object. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what we got. So there's no padding, that's fine. Frame, interesting. Scale mode, don't think that's what we want. Point Blank Ted says you do have experience in web game development, and your company made about 10 Facebook Insta games in Phaser. Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. Also, what are Facebook Instant games? I saw that on the Phaser site, but I'd never even heard of that before. And to be honest, I use Facebook for Facebook Messenger, but I never actually really check my feed or use any of the features. I'm kind of a social hermit at times. But I am active in our Discord. I like to stay active in there because I like chatting with you guys. It's those IRL folk that are trouble. I'll let you guys chat amongst yourselves. This is awesome. But anyways, yeah, just looking for something we can use to figure out the width of each character, ideally. Text, well, I don't know. If we set it to like a monospace font, we could figure it out just because all of the characters would have the same width. So that's what monospace is. But oh, display width? No, that's just the width of the whole thing. It's really just canvas web games that have a specific shape, phone, and API, says Point Blank Ted. So that's what the Facebook instant games are. Neat, man. That's cool. I've never messed with that before. Or if I did, it would have been a way long time ago, and I probably didn't, but there's a chance. But anyways, Point Blank Ted, just off the top of your head, do you know a way of measuring the width of each character in this string? Or feel free to tell me I'm going about this the wrong way, and if you have a better idea, then hit me up with that too. But yeah, Point Blank Ted, since you're here, do you know of a way to measure the character widths? Split, regular expression, new. Style, what's in here? Oh, metrics. Oh, ascent and descent. That's probably what we have to use. I need to look up what that actually means. Text, ascent, and descent. Yeah, right there. Boom. Text, ascent, descent. Meaning of top, ascent, baseline. Good lord. Okay. Yeah, let's go for it. So, oh, here we go. Beautiful. Oh, Stack Overflow. When do you ever let me down? This is amazing. So top, the maximum distance above the baseline of the tallest glyph. Okay, just sort of get that. Ascent, the recommended distance above the baseline for singled spaced text. Descent, the recommended distance below the baseline for the singled spaced text. I don't know if this is what I'm looking for. Oh, IIRC Phaser has a text measure helper. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's use that. That should probably make our lives easier. Is that? Oh, that's what that text measure function was, right? Or measure text? Yeah. So what does it return? An object. Oh, an object containing all this stuff. Okay. But this is the ascent, descent font size. How does that relate to the character width? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Width and I suppose character height too would be also helpful. I'm just going to look at it and see if there's like an example use. Oh, no, this is straight up to the source code. That's not really what I want. Well, whatever. Let's just try it and see what... Oh, you can measure text just by putting it into a text field and checking the width. Okay. Okay. So like a text field as in... Sorry, man. If this is like painfully obvious for you, I apologize. I just... This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm just doing it on the fly. Oh, the scene.add text. Okay, yeah. So we're doing that. Oh, yeah, see? Again, my mouse just scrolls places. So yeah, we've got that here. We're saying this.add.text, which is, this is a reference to a scene. Just what you read from the source. Ah, okay. So yeah, this dot add text. Yeah. What does that like take a width and height as well? That would be amazing. Sounds like you can just do the subtitle.width or whatever. Right. But the thing is, I'm trying to figure out where in our subtitle we should be adding break lines. So like I'm trying to figure out like where in our... Oh, I just thought of a way we can do it. If we can get the width, we can do it. Yeah, okay, you guys are right. You guys are smart. You are all brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I think I got it now. I think it all clicked in my brain. My slow, headache-riddled brain. After we get this working, I am gonna have to sign off. I can't keep going. I'm dying. But okay. So we just need the display width, I believe, is what we want. So let's say dot get this. Or would it just be display width? Probably display width. Let's try that. I'm still looking for the font setting that should make word wrap work automatically. You think it's new? Okay, cool. Well, I mean, yeah, thanks, dude. If you find it, let me know. But I think I've got a way I can figure it out on my own. I'm just gonna make like figure out like the kind of like almost percentage points of the width that we then need to cut the string at by figuring out how many characters are total. And yeah, I've got a plan that might work. You don't know about version 3 though. Oh, cool. Thanks, Rub-a-Dub TV. Cheers. And EBL, yo, shout out. You said, Ayo, really enjoying the stream. Keep up the good vibes. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Cheers. Brr. So let's take a look at this example real quick. Ah, yes. Phaser with a sprinkle of pixie dust. A lot of the version 2 examples do actually work with version 3, so there's a good chance here. Hey, Sarek Den, do you mind if I share my game development community Discord with the chat? Nah, man, go for it, dude. No problem at all. I share mine like every stream, so feel free, dude. You know what? I'll get a link for the Discord right now and just like paste it in the chat so all you guys can come in and hang out as well if you so desire. So yeah, how do you do this again? Invite people, set link to never expire, and well, actually, hold on. No, I do want it to expire, actually. I want it to expire after a day. No limit to the uses. Or how about, like, the first 25 of y'all? Generate a new link. Copy. Boink. Any of you veterans recommended the fastest / best way to become proficient in software development? Also, what is Phaser? a library for JavaScript. Please excuse my noobness. EBL, not at all. Not at all. Noobness is everyone at some point or another was a noob. It's totally a thing. And like, don't even worry about calling yourself a noob, man. You're just learning. It's all good. Cool. So those are good questions. So first of all, recommended the best, fastest way to become proficient in software development. Honestly, man, my advice would be to just start making side projects and just start tinkering and start playing around. And the more you do that and the more you get excited about it, the easier it'll be to learn and the faster you'll learn too. And with regards to Phaser, Phaser is a JavaScript game development framework. I'll drop you a link to it in just a second. I'm just going to drop the Discord link as well. Point blank Ted, trying to kind of rekindle the IRC days. Since we're dropping Discords, here's a 25 max invite link to mine, y'all. Join if you'd like. No pressure. Doink. So yeah, those of you who are watching, if you feel so inclined, definitely check out Rub-a-Dub TV's Discord channel, server, whatever. And if you would like to, you're welcome to join mine as well. Yo, Rub-a-Dub TV, you're on the stream, you're live. Oops. Boink. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Love the community thus far. Cheers, bro. Appreciate that. And yeah, so I started programming and game development community on there. Right, yeah. Nice, man. Right on. Perfect. Yeah, so, yo, Rub-a-Dub TV, actually, I'll join your Discord right now, too. Let's share the love, man. That's what this is all about, right? Boom, join Nerd Nest. Oh, good name, bro. Great name. That's amazing. Cheers, dude. Right on. Cool. Well, anyways, whoops. Why did it go away? Oh, there's Nerd Nest. Never mind. Okay. Yo, Mitch, welcome. Clockwork Coyote. Whoa, all you guys. Oh, hold on. This is your one. Oh, sorry, might be. I thought I was in mine. I was like, wow. I got really excited. But, yo, still, Rub-a-Dub and Turba Delatio. Welcome, you guys. I'll make you guys members right now. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so this source isn't loading for some reason. Let's just hit it up on GitHub then. That'll work just as well. Not download, not comment, not mobile, no. How can I just open the thing? Oh, here we go. View code for this example. Beauty, that's what we want. Ah, here we go. Oh, this is not that bad. Style anchor.set. Oh, that's just the way of doing it back then with the... Okay. What is the style? Oh, word wrap true, word wrap width. Oh, wow, hey. Yo, if that works, that would be amazing. Let's just try commenting this out and give that a shot. So, first property was... It is a Phaser 2 example, so there's a chance it won't work in Phaser 3, but there's a chance it will, so... let's say word wrap true. And word wrap width. Word wrap width is, let's say, window dot inner width minus 40 for 20 pixels of padding on either side. Although I guess we could have just used the actual padding property, so yeah, why don't we do that instead? That would be more legit. Window dot make better use of phaser, all the features it gives us. And we'll put padding back on, and we'll set padding to 10. Should be fine, actually. Let's give this a go. Let's see how this looks. Nope. Doesn't seem to be picking that up on phaser 3, unfortunately. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Oh, no. I am putting it in the right place. They just did it a little bit differently. But it's, oops. Whoa, more messages. You think you found it? Oh, you think you found it? Yes, point blank Ted. You are my hero, sir. Okay, let's see what this is. Let's go check this out. I really like these okay men, okay women emojis, because like they make me think of they look like they're trying to raise the roof. That's what I like about it. It's like raise the roof, you know? Yeah, I know. Oh, and yo, FBL, shout out for the follow, bro. Appreciate that. And oh, thank you, point blank Ted, you are a genius. Text.get text metrics. Ew. This.make text config 1. Oh, and it's got all these, this ascent descent stuff defined, which I still don't fully understand, but I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna try just this text.get text metrics function. So let's say this.subtitle.get, or well, console. Let's do something with it. Let's say console.log get text metrics. So that gives me the ascent, the descent, and the font size. Like, if there's some way of doing it with that, then I mean, I'm down. I just don't really totally... I read over that Stack Overflow answer, but I still don't quite get what the ascent and the descent do. Don't let me distract you. Stay focused. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. You'd be surprised if they deprecated that in version 3. But you can get away with their auto word. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Rub It Up TV, you're right. You think setting metrics will skip the call that was failing in WebGL? Oh. Not sure though. Okay. I see what you're saying, point blank, Ted. Okay, interesting. So setting metrics will skip the call that was failing in WebGL. So, okay. Interesting. Okay. You know, like, okay. I know we just made a breakthrough with that. I'm going to comment that just so that it's there and we can check it. But I just have one theory. Oh, word wrap is an object. Yo. Rub-a-dub TV coming in strong. I'm gonna copy your code straight out of the chat. Oh, dude, beauty. This is gonna change our lives right now. Word wrap width and use advanced word wrap. Wow, so that's like built in, and it'll yeah. This is a little bit more of what I was like expecting would exist. You know, this is the kind of thing that I was thinking there has to be something like this. Yes, that, says point blank Ted. Beauty. Okay, I think we got it then. This is way simpler than what I was planning on doing, by the way. What I was planning on doing would have just been... Yeah! Look at that. Bless. Yo, we should start some, like, traditions on this channel. Like, anytime we crush a bug or a feature or something, we should, like... have like an emoji that we spam or just something funny. Cheers, Rub It Up TV. That was awesome. Thanks, bro. That's amazing. And it even like it seems to be like pushing it up even, so it's not gonna go outside of the bottom screen. That must be that use advanced word wrap. That's awesome. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Let's try making it like a really even crazier long string just to see if it does do that. This string is now super duper long. What happens? Does it extend off the bottom of the screen, or does it get pushed up by octos? Ooh, almost gets pushed up. Oh, I know what we can do. Set the origin point 0.5 on the X, but 1 on the Y, or possibly 0. I always get them mixed up. Yeah, there we go. And then just set the X to be inner height minus whatever we wanted for the padding, which I think we're using 10. So let's actually up that to 20. So 20, or actually, let's just not even have that there because we'll have the padding on the bottom too. So yeah, beauty, just window.inner height, so it goes right flush with the bottom. Then the padding will offset it back up a little bit so it looks prettier. Let's see if this works. Boom, look at that. Although padding on the left and right doesn't seem to be, well, you win some, you lose some. I guess we don't necessarily need that to be in the center anymore either. We could just say 0. It should be the exact same thing. Oh, it is not. Oh, just because we have the origin set. So, well, whatever. I like having the origin in the center, so let's keep it like that. I think that emoji I posted looks really funny in the, I can't tell for sure because it's too small, but the stream preview looks like it's all black in the background, so anyway. Okay, so yeah, so it does what we're hoping it'll do. That's amazing. That is a terrific find, you guys. Thank you for that. Thank you. So Point Blank Ted and Rub It Up TV. Cheers times 1,000 to you. Whatever you're drinking at home, Red Bull, beer, coffee, juice, almond milk, doesn't matter. Cheers. Let's all have a cheers. All right. Cool, so that's, ooh, I've totally lost my train of thought now. We're closing in on 1 a.m., but I want to get like a real basic say function working. So for now, we'll default this to subtitle. I want to see it with just a little bit of text too, just to confirm, yep, it's working exactly as we want it to, so beautiful. Okay, so then, let's initialize the, I'm going to say visibility, or I think it was alpha, was it not? To 0. See if that makes it disappear. Nope. Give it a go for opacity, perhaps? Nope. Okay, let's just go to the docs. Okay, so this is text style. This is the one we want. Just want to see that word wrap property here. Honey, I don't know why it doesn't show it in the docs. That's wow, wacky. Where did you find that, Rub-a-Dub TV? Where did you find that that word wrapping object? Anywho, oh man, I am running out of steam real quick here, but we can power through. We can get this all done in one stream, and it'll be beautiful. Shadow color? Shet? I'm not swearing. I'm saying shed. But anywho, max lines. Nah, we don't want to set a max line height. Font style. Nah. These are all methods anyways. We're just looking for the config. You just Googled word wrap in Phaser 3. Yep, fair enough. Oh, and I see topic, and it's on the HTML game devs forums as well. Wrecked. Not like this. Alright, we're still in the... Okay, sorry. Totally just spacing on what I'm looking for here. I'm just dirting out pretty good now. Let's see, alpha perhaps? No. Just visibility, how about that? No? Okay. Oh, but you know what? It's a game object, so we get everything that the game objects have as well. So why don't we just do this the smarty pants way and go console.log this.subtitle. Who needs documentation? The reads. Exactly, EBL. The reads. Who reads anyhow? Just kidding. I actually really like reading. Books, that is. Documentation can be a little dry at times, but it usually gets you the answers you want. Apparently our text is dirty. Dirty is true. Interesting. I feel like that means something different than what I'm thinking, but yeah. Let's see. What am I looking? Alpha right here. 1. Okay, so we can probably just go like this instead of. Oh, it's yeah, right. It wouldn't be a configuration thing. It would just be a function that we're getting from the extending game object, or it's getting from extending game object. So set alpha 0. Whoa, what am I doing? Whoa, what am I doing? Whoa, what am I doing? Okay, here we go. There we go. Boom. And there it is. Now it's invisible. Beautiful. So that's what we want. We want it to start hidden, invisible. Still there, but invisible. Now our show subtitle is going to add a tween and fade it in. Set the text, then fade it in. We'll just set it first to make it easy and fast, but then we will change it to tween so it'll look real cool. Okay, so let's see. Show subtitle. So we've got that blurb object, which we're defining in our level 1 class here, where we instantiate our engineer. We're giving him these blurbs of conversation. So we'll deal with tutorial later, we'll deal with got junk later, we'll deal with thanks later. My goal for the remainder of this stream is just to get what we're saying to appear on the screen. And as you, I don't really want to have buttons, but we'll have some way of proceeding through the different texts, the blurbs. So show subtitle blurb is it's receiving this object right here, this hello object. So in this case, it's a question, so we'll deal with all the answers and stuff later. Right now we're just focused on getting the text on the screen. So show subtitle, you know what, we're gonna create a new variable as well. So we'll say this dot blurb index equals 0. So we started at 0. Show subtitle, we'll say const line, or line equals blurb dot say, and we'll pass in our this dot dialog, what do we call it? Wow, I'm bad. Blurb index, or let's say line index instead of blurb index. That makes more sense. Line index. Now that we've got a line index in our that starts at 0, we can get the first line, and then we can say this dot subtitle, which we already have a reference to, dot text, or a set text I think is the function we want, set text to line. After setting that, we'll say this.subtitle.set alpha to 1. Now we just need a way to actually trigger this function. Rub-a-dub TV says the reads, huh? Oh. Guys, I'll be back in just 1 second. I'm just gonna, or actually, you know what? I won't even leave. I just have to pop a Tylenol. I've got a bit of a killer headache at the moment. Just give me uno momento. Sarek Den should get some rest. You should get some rest, says Rub-a-dub TV. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm just, we're so close. Okay. Alright, Rub-a-dub TV, I'll do you a deal. If I can't figure this out in the next... If I can't figure this out by 1:15, so... It's that coder energy, 100%, bro. That's my whole life. That's awesome. But, excuse me. Yeah, I'm sounding pretty haggard now, aren't I? Anyways, where I was going with that is we're very close, and if I can get it done in 15 minutes, killer. But if I don't get it done in 15 minutes, I will promise I will stop the stream and I will go to bed promptly and get some sleep. And hopefully not wake up my brother. But I think he's awake anyways, so anyway. I just googled word wrap phaser 3. Alright, let's see here. So now we just need a place to trigger this show subtitle function. Oh, no, sorry, we already have that. We are doing that in NPC. So read dialog key. So we need to, yes, we've built a bigger system than I know. So basically just in our MC Africa fight, no, sorry, MC Africa fight, why would it be there? It's in level 1. Excuse me. We have our reference to our engineer right here. And now all we need to do is we need to have some kind of interaction with him. What I'm thinking we'll do for this stream is we'll just have like a click event, which for the life of me, I don't know how to do in Phaser, so I'm going to have to Google that. Phaser 3 click event, sprite. I saw sprite in there. That'll probably help our cause. How to pass a click event. Beauty. We use EE3 for events in V3, and it doesn't support for triggering events. The easiest thing to do would simply be to call the image a callback within... What? Oh, on pointer down. Cool. Beauty. Alright, so let's say that's a sprite that he's calling that on, I believe? Button. Yeah, so sprite. Cool. Let's try it. Let's say this dot... Actually, we can probably just define it in the create function. So we can say... We'll say engineer dot... where is our code example? Right here. Dot on... Oh, dude, this is a nice, super nice event system. I hope this works. Pointer down, and we'll say, does it have an event argument? Does not, or at least it doesn't in this example. All right, and in our, see, again, my mouse just scrolls places. It doesn't do what I say. It just is like, oh, you want to go to the bottom of the document? Here, go to the bottom of the document. You don't get a choice in this. You're just the user. No one cares what you think. That sounded bad. We all care what the user thinks, but my mouse does not. Is the point of that story. Okay, so anyways, engineer the on pointer down. What do we want for this? We just want to call engineer dot read dialog, and which one do we want to read? Let's take a look at our dialog, whatever we're calling this here. We want to read hello, so read hello. Let's test it. Here we go. Actually, we can switch back out of mobile mode. We can use the desktop controls again, which is a bit nicer. Oh no, doesn't work. Oh, but I think you need to set interactive. There we go. Boom. I knew there was a missing step. So engineer.set interactive. Boom. Now let's try it again. Hey, look at that. Your mouse wouldn't make a good freelance software engineer, says Crazy Cuber. True that, man. No kidding, hey? Right, anyway, he says, hi, I'm an engineer. Would you like to hear how I can assist you? And then, not tonight, because I'm falling asleep and my brain is melting, but next stream we will get the actual like QA system working. So when he asks a question like this, it'll show some answers, and those answers will be buttons, and you can either click or touch them on your touch screen, and it'll all be gravy. Let's try it on see if it works on, oops, wrong button. Let's see if it works on the phone too. So I think the pointer event means like either mouse or touch event. So that's sweet. Hi, I'm an engineer. Would you like to hear how I can assist you? And cool, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Any schedule, says Crazy Cuber, for streaming? To source that? Dude, great emoji to source. That's amazing. What is that? Sell him. Oh, I can't do it. Bummer. Anyway, that's a great emoji. I really like it. And Crazy Cuber, if you're on a desktop computer, you can just scroll straight down. But my schedule is 9:30 until normally midnight, but we've gone a little bit late tonight. But 9:30 p.m. Until midnight Pacific Standard Time, Monday to Friday, is my current schedule. I am unfortunately probably going to have to change that a little in the upcoming future, because I've got, hang on, I'm just doing a monologue here, so I'll switch over to me. I'm going to have to change that in the future, most likely, because I've got a job that I am going to be doing soon, probably. I'm going to be working at a gas station. Yeah, how's that? But you know what? I decided, like, at my last job, when it didn't work out, I was like, man, you know what? I could work as a coder and really, like, put a lot of my focus and energy into my career, or I could work as a waiter or at a cafe or gas station. Crazy Cuber, you said free gas station swag. Word, dude. And EBL swag, puppy swag. Anyways, I just decided that, you know what, like, as much as I want to have a good career, and that was always a big goal of mine, was now my priorities have kind of shifted, and these projects that we're working on, these are my priorities now. And if they're ever going to get anywhere, and if I'm ever going to be able to support myself and live off of these projects and yada yada, etc., if I'm ever going to be able to do that, it's only going to be through like dedication and working on these with as much energy as I can. So yeah, exactly. EBL, you just said, EBL says be your own boss. Definitely. That's pretty much what I'm thinking too, man. Anyways, let's switch back to this and just finish this off real quick. And then, or actually you know what? Here, one last thing we can do is back over, where on earth was it now? In our level? Yes. In the show subtitle function, we're going to do a little tween to make this a little bit fancier. So instead of just setting the alpha, we're going to fade it in, and perhaps we could even, yeah, I've got an idea too. We could also say this dot subtitle dot set y, set position y, I think is what we're looking for. You know what, I'm gonna console log it just to be sure. I've got 7 minutes left, guys. We can do this. We can do this in 7 minutes, I believe. I'm a believer. Oh, I'm not a believer. Why did I say that? Oh dear. I just said that on a live thing. I can never take it back. Good lord. That's a terrifying notion. So we want game object prototype. We're looking for set, like position, select display origin, nah. Scroll factor, nah. Set. I'm just looking for like a set X function or a set position. Set random position? Cool. Oh, set position. Here we go. X, Y, Z, W. Again, what is the W? I don't understand W, but that's... I'm going to have to investigate that because that's itching my brain now, as Mr. Robot would say. Anywho, so, okay, cool. Set position, X, Y. So that's what we're looking for. So let's head on over here and we'll say... where we're setting the alpha to 0, we're also set the this dot subtitle dot set position, and X will be the same. X is still not 0, but window dot inner width divided by 2. And comma. Now this is where it's going to get a little interesting. We're going to say this dot subtitle dot display height divided by 2, because remember we're centered in the middle of this. Oh no, we're not. Sorry, we're centered at the bottom. Ma B. So we just have to do the display height, and it should actually work. Because if we offset it by exactly the display height, it should move it just off of the screen, which is what we're going for, because then we'll tween it to slide up and fade in at the same time, and it's gonna look Gucci, as the young kids would say. I'm old. I'm old. Oops. You saw the outro for a second. Just pretend you didn't see anything. Set random position uses X, Y, height, and width. Maybe width is W. Oh, okay, Wimpzer. Yeah, could be. Makes sense. Makes sense. Gotcha. Anyways, now, I'm gonna try and do this by memory, but I don't think I'm... Yeah, no, I'm not. I only have 4 minutes. I'm not gonna do this by memory. I'm gonna go straight to the Phaser Labs and find their tween example. Straight to Google, straight to Phaser Labs. Okay, fine. Just Phaser Labs. Tweens, yes. Boom. We just want a basic one, no real callback yet. Just basic. No, fine, no basic. Ooh, on yo-yo callback. Sure, on yo-yo callback. Let's start with this and just see how complicated we can make it. Well, that's not exactly what we want, but it is tweening, so it's somewhere in there. There's doing some tweening code, which is what we're looking for. So right here, this.tweens.add. You know, I should have tried it on my own. I was sure I could get it, and anyways, whatever, no problem. Okay, so Boink. Jack that. And we'll say he's using ES6 in this example too, so we're good to go. Unindent that a little bit. Now we don't really need all these repeat functions and what have you. Or maybe we do actually. That actually could be a way we could do this. That'd be really neat. But yeah, why not? Let's just say repeat, not one repeats 0, I guess? Or no, let's try 1, because maybe it has to repeat to go backwards. And the duration is 3 seconds, that's fine. Power 1 is the ease, that's fine. Yo-yo true, I want to play around with that, so yep. And the X is what we're moving, but actually in our case we're moving the Y, and we want to move the Y from whatever it was just to 0, and that should bring it right to the bottom. Oh no, not 0, sorry. Window.inner height. That's what we want to move it to. So that should bring it right to the bottom of the screen, and the target is not image, but the target is this.subtitle. And actually not set alpha, we now want to pass the alpha in as a tween as well. So we'll say alpha 1. That should be golden. Oh, it didn't work exactly how we wanted it to, but it worked it's pretty good. Funny, so what's happening that's making it not quite work right? So it's the start position is not quite right. It's all right. It's coming down from the top, or almost like here, which is weird. So, oh, I know what's going on. I messed up here. Yeah. So we don't want to set it. We don't want to set the Y position to just. Okay, for one thing, I didn't even finish this line of code, so that's probably undefined, but we want to say window.inner height plus subtitle.display height should do the trick to push it just off the screen, off the bottom of the screen. Let's try this. There it is. It's a little slow, so we'll make it a bit faster, but beauty. And these we're gonna be able to hook into these functions to do some magic in a little bit here, but okay, and I was right about the repeats thing. We actually don't want it to repeat, just 0 will do for tonight's stream. And what else? Boom, hit him up, and hi, I'm an engineer. Would you like to hear how I can assist you? Bye-bye. Is there any like pause? I'm just gonna look up real quick. Phaser 3 tween config docs. I imagine it would be tween, and we're looking for the tween data config. This is what we want. So key target and blah blah, ease duration. The duration of the tween. Oh no, that's the other thing. Delay. No. Oh, I'm 1 minute over. Sorry, guys. I'll call it in a minute here. No, okay. I'll get it. I'll push this code online and I'll call it now. But oh, and actually one little thing I have to change, just real quick. I know exactly what it is, so no debugging and no debugging required. It's all good. You broke our deal. Oh, sorry, man. I know. I'm sorry. I'm the worst. Just give me 1 second. I'll get it popping, and then I'll get it online, and all you guys can play around and talk to our new NPC, and basically that's all you can do right now. But you know, that's what we got. So okay, I need to go to the title scene, and I need to change. I need to do a couple things here. One, on. Dot on. Here we go. So, are we doing this in the update? No, create. Okay, good. So, UI functionality. We're gonna do the same with load game button. But basically these two things are gonna take you to do different places. And I'm gonna actually test this before I push it online. Death to Sarek 10, oh my god! JKL, keep it up, Chief. Thanks, man. I'm signing off at the minute that I get this online and just change one thing so that you guys can actually play it. But I promise this is it. Oh, wow, I've got a function for new game? What is this? Or it would just be new game. Oh, right there, I see. Wow, it's like right in front of me and I'm like, where is it? Search for it. Wait it away. So we want another one for load game, and we want load game to take you to level 1. The key for level 1 is level 1. Okay, so basically, guys, what's going to go down here, I've got a really sloppy solution so you can test both maps, is I've got it so that if you push, if you push load game, oh, that was right. If you push load game, it should, oh, that's not what I wanted, sorry. If you push load game, it'll take you to one map, and if you push new game, it'll take you to the old map, is what's gonna go down here in just a moment, and you'll all be able to go full ham and test it as much as you want. I just wanna test it myself really quick and make sure there's no crashing bugs that are blowing up everything just before I push it to production. So we're in the preloader. We want to start, or dot start, right here. So instead of starting level 1, I'm just going to copy this and go like this just to test it. And okay, hold the phone. I'm going to test it big on my, well, let's keep the console open, but test it big first, and then, well, I'm not even going to test it on the phone. I'm just going to test it big, but just make sure both of the maps load with no bugs, and then I'll call it, sign off. Sorry for breaking my promise. I am the worst. Sorry, truly. Sorry. I don't know where to look when I'm looking at, I guess I just look at the camera. Anyways, point is, let's test this out. Oh, that didn't work yet. Hold the phone. Title scene, what's going on? Load, is it not called load game button? There it is, load game button, right there. So we're defining that as image add, set origin, blah, 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 same thread. Okay. I mean, same thing. Oopsies. But we do want it to say load claim. Load game. See if this works. Should have a pink outline if it's working. The load button, that is. Okay, apparently it doesn't have a pink outline, but it still works, so whatever. Okay, so load game works, takes you to the new map that we just created, complete with our talking dude. It's a little glitchy on my screen, but whatever. Anywho, that works, and I just need to test the other scenario just to make sure the old map still works, and then this is all going to go online. You guys can test it out, do what you want, play with it, find bugs, report back during the next stream if you find some bugs, find anything you think would be a good addition or change. And cool, this scene's still working, so you can still fight robots and do all the other game mechanics we've built so far. So I didn't want to have all those get ruined just yet, or not ruined, but I didn't want to hide those because we put a lot of work into this too. So take out these robots, and if they bounce off your head, they do damage. Anyways, I don't need to showcase this. You guys can be free and play it yourselves. Anyways, yes, so this is all working. Time to just push it online. And whew, that was legit. Do a quick diff, or good lord, quick branch check first. Basic dialog, good. Get a diff. Oh, just uncomment that line again in the preloader. Boom, just like that. And diff again. So good, it takes you to level 1. If we're in debug mode, or if we're in development mode, fine. Load game button interactivity, good. The whole like dialog object in our sprite, cool. Our NPC, I mean. And setting engineer to interactive, so we can click on him, and then when we do so, it calls his read dialog function and passes the hello key. Brilliant. Get the context from the game. We don't need that anymore. So that's, what is that? That's level. So get rid of that real quick. Just clean this up a tad, because we're not using that at all. And click through this, rip through that. Oh, cool. Adding some new parameters to our init scene, adding the subtitle UI, and setting the layering, the depth, that is, our show subtitle function that we just finished, and passing around the dialogue and the scene, and read dialogue, read random, those, oh, read dialogue's being used, read random we haven't implemented yet, but no worries. Okay, I feel confident in pushing this online. So git add everything, so to stage it all, do another status just to show what it looks like staged. Now everything is green. Git commit -m. This is issue number 51. So 51 adds basic subtitle system. Thanks, RubAdubTV. Oh, you're heading to bed, RubAdubTV. For sure, man. Hope to see you on future ones. I'll be sure to check out your stream too if I can coordinate my schedule as such. And yeah, man, have a good night. Thanks for all the engagement. Thanks for tuning in, man. Much appreciated. And oh, yo, and Turb. Wait. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Might be. I think Turbo Latatio. Shout out for the follow, dude. Much appreciated. Shout out for the follow, my dude. So commit that and push this to origin Kirk 51 basic dialog, which is a new branch that we're creating on our remote server and pushing our local branch to it. Now let's head on over to GitHub and take a refresh on our basic dialog system. And there it is right there. Adds basic subtitle system. And that is all the code we changed in this stream. So I'll send you guys that too. Sounds good. Yeah, I mostly stream on weekends and maybe 1 to 2 times a week if I have enough time. Dude, perfect. I don't stream on the weekends, so I'll check you out on the weekend, bro. And good night, man. Have a good one. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that in the chat right there, that link is all of the source code we changed during this stream. And I'm just gonna merge this, make a pull request and merge this into master, and then Netlify will work its magic and automatically deploy our code to the production server, the bleeding edge nightly beta kind of thing, or alpha at this point. And yeah, you guys will be able to play what I just created, or what we, not I, sorry, whoa, not just me, you guys helped. More, like, it's just more than I ever could have asked for. You guys helped so much in this stream. Anywho, I'm not gonna bother waiting for all those auto tests to complete. Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe that's super unadvisable, but as far as I know, it's not a big deal. That was like a new thing that never used to be there, so how bad can it really be? Anyways, now that that's merged in, if you guys head on over to, well, okay, wait maybe 5 minutes or so at 5 minutes or so. Give it a little bit of time. and head on over to noplacelike.netlify.com. Just dropped a link in the chat for you guys, where you can play a live demo of the game that we have been working on this entire stream. The game is open source as well, so also feel free to check out the page there, the GitHub page. And if you are a developer and you feel so inclined, absolutely fork a copy of the repository into your account. Make whatever changes you think would be good and benefit the game, or fix bugs or anything you want to do, and something you could see yourself figuring out and contributing, and then make a pull request to merge it back into the master No Place Like Sarikden version, my version. And I'll check out your code and I'll test it on my local machine, make sure everything's all gravy. And if everything is all gravy, I will merge that sucker into our main repository. You will have officially contributed to No Place Like, the official version. We already have, it says 2 contributors, but it actually should be 3. We had another guy contribute some code. He made the preloader. He just didn't have his Git configuration set up synced with his GitHub account, so he didn't get credit in here, which really irks me. But anyways, lessons learned, I guess, for all of us. Gotta push that on people, tell them to get all that stuff. Anywho, so thank you all so much for joining me on this awesome stream. This has been one of the best live streams I've had this week, this month, last month, ergo my whole streaming career. This has been one of the best, so thank you all for that. That was really awesome. Thank you, brother, says EBL. Cheers, bro. I appreciate that. I gotta get the chat showing up on this little final screen so you guys can get your final comments in here too. But anywho, point is, we did a lot, we accomplished a lot, we got a bunch done, it was awesome. And for those of you who enjoyed what you saw, please do consider following on Twitch and subscribing on YouTube, because I stream every night on Twitch Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. until normally midnight. We went kind of late tonight, but it was a good stream, so I had to. And anywho, on YouTube, I post other videos such as like development vlogs and eventually tutorials. And also I re-upload all of the streams into archives so that if you ever feel like checking out a past stream, it's there on YouTube. So check me out on YouTube. Links for all that are below in my profile or just around wherever places. I don't know. I'm also on every other social media under the sun, unfortunately, because that's just what you have to do to succeed in this time. Apparently, that's what everyone tells me. So yes, I'm also. Oh, and Turbo Delatio says, thanks, good stream. Cheers, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, that's about my entire spiel. So I'm going to switch over to my outro screen for 20 seconds so that I can overlay stuff on that on YouTube, and it makes more sense on YouTube than on Twitch, but you know, whatever. It's only we're ending this now. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thank you all so much for the contribution, the help, the chat, everything. It was awesome. And I would go through and name you all individually, but there was a lot, and it would take me forever to, like, a long time to do that. So so thank you all. You know who you are.